Hello, everybody. What up? I had to go move my car earlier, which is why we're running a little bit late. And in the process, I almost got into a car accident. And so I think you should count your blessings, just like you're blessed to have another episode of Facecheck coming right at you. Finals completed. The quadruple sweep done. Dom here, Zyrene here, Loco here. And guys, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is LCS. How you feeling? How was Detroit for you guys on camera, far, far away from everything? Because Detroit seemed okay, but then the opening ceremony.
I feel like it's just showing that League is going down, right? Like if you remember how it used to be, like season 5, right? When the last arena I played was Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. Madison Square Garden is so much more prestigious than like whatever the fuck this is. Like where like in Detroit or whatever. Like I don't understand why they're just getting like worse and worse. I assume they're just running out of money because like I cannot believe that this Detroit like LCSU good, like there's no way they paid that girl. That she had to have done that shit for free, right? Like there's no way you can pay somebody money to do what she did. Okay. I don't think.
Get Mark Z up there, dude.
I'll give my theory on what's going on. I think LCS is trying to be more sustainable. Like they are definitely saving money, but I think how they were doing it before, where they were just throwing money everywhere. They're like, we are the best esports. Like we have unlimited amount of money. Like we can do whatever the fuck we want. And now they're toning it down a bit, and they want things to be sustainable. So one thing they've been doing is after the franchise, they have all these sports teams that they partnered with, and they're trying to use their partners as much as possible. Last time they did, I forgot it was spring or summer in Oracles with
Oracle Arena, so Golden Guardians, yeah.
Yeah, Golden Guardians. At this time, Detroit, it's with Rocket Mortgage. You saw a lot of the 100 Thieves people up there. You saw Amazing. You saw.
I thought that was like the Cavs.
They are Cavs, so they have Cavaliers, but they also have one of their biggest sponsors is Rocket Mortgage. Their entire team house is named after Rocket Mortgage. So that's why you saw a lot of 100 Thieves people up there, and this was very in line with like the 100 Thieves like sponsor. So they're just utilizing the sponsors a lot more. They are saving money though. I won't disagree on that. So
okay, well, I mean, if they want to save money, like this is what they can do. They can just send me a fucking invoice. I'll just pay for the opening act next time. I'll give you the 50 or 100 grand that you need, Riot, and you can have an actual decent performance, just so that hundreds of thousands of people don't have to go through that type of pain again. That's what I want.
Go ahead, Aiden.
All right. I was gonna say, like, being on the inside, I know for a fact that they are not like cutting costs, but they're trying to be more responsible with their spending. Mm-hmm. So every dollar you spend needs to be justified in some way. And I'm saying, for example, if you hired like a medium to, I would say medium high opening act, does it really change your experience that dramatically that you are seeing a return money wise for doing that? Right. So whatever you paid this woman and this band, are you getting like, you're basically getting what you paid for, right? But is that going to be something that actually has like a large return on it, right? So it's like, why would we spend $100,000 on an opening act if does the opening act really mean that much in the long run? And that might be something.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Net disconnected for a sec.
Okay. Facecheck, you good? Second time.
Yeah, we good. We better than at opening ceremony. But yeah, so we're talking about that, just summing up what I was saying is they're just trying to be really efficient. It's not like they're running out of money or anything like that. They're just trying to make the money they spend worth it, because they basically did Madison Square Garden, like you were talking about, Dom, and that's like that you peak there, right? It's almost like being an Olympic gymnast at the age of 16 and winning the gold medal, and then it's just like, well, what do you do next? I guess we get on the cereal boxes, because now I'm not as flexible when I'm 20, 24, so it's like harder to actually compete at that level. So you kind of peak early, and it's like, well, where do we go? Well, we have to kind of sustain that high, right? You can't constantly outdo yourself. There is a limit to it. You do like, World Cup Stadium in Korea in 2014, 2015, Madison Square Garden. So it's like, what can they spend? What corners can they cut in a sense? Because Riot, it's no like secret that they're working on other games, right? When you're pouring money into other games, you are seeing $0 back from that game over the course of multiple years, right? While you're developing it. Yeah, your research and development budget is large. And if you're looking for that next game, you're getting $0 back from that. So the money that you spend on League of Legends, you have to be like, hold on, let's make League of Legends sustain these other games. So we have to cut some things here, or at least make it really efficient and have returns on it, or else we're going to run out of money before we throw these other games out there. So that's kind of what's going on, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's extremely hard to track like how much value there is in something like an opening performance. Like, you don't really know. Okay, like you're not going to see $100,000 of just like sales instantly if you pay for $100,000 worth of like a performance.
Very nebulous.
But but in general, I just feel like just not making your whole fucking league look like a joke goes a long way in this type of community, because people want to shit on Riot, and when they see like this type of level of performance, like you went from like Imagine Dragons to like, who the fuck is this like lady that keeps on sticking out her tongue? Like, I don't know if this is supposed to be sexual or what. Like, it's just weird. It's just fucking weird, and it makes you feel weird about being like a fan of the esport. Like, you don't want to get behind that as somebody that's.
Imagine the people who aren't fans of the esport and this is their first experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just awkward. It's like, so I mean, maybe you don't have to, pay nothing, or like pay 100,000. Maybe there's something that you can do in the middle, or you maybe just don't even have an opening act. Like, maybe you don't even need music. Like, fuck it. If you don't want to spend anything, just don't have the opening act. It's not that fucking important. But this was more of a negative than a positive. I don't see anyone talking about that. Like, damn, I was fucking hyped up for the games after hearing this girl saying like she just got me ready for LCS. It's literally people don't comment on it, or they say it was horrible. That's what the overall perception is. So it's like, what is the benefit there? Like, people don't need the music that much. It's not like when I go to LCS, I'm like, what the fuck? There was no opening set. Well, I don't even want to watch anymore. Like, it's just retarded.
I'll say this. I'm pretty sure Riot paid the band or the girl like a decent amount. Like, I'm sure they weren't doing it for nothing. It's just, it was a terrible choice. Like, has the opening acts like gotten worse and worse? And what's this one of like ones that's gonna stick in our memory as being god awful? Yes, they just need to make better choices.
Well, that's the thing. I think when I went back, I looked at a couple of the other opening performances, and a lot of the time, so in spring, do you remember what they did in spring over in St. Louis? Another mid-major market that's kind of small. Does anyone remember? Nope. I didn't remember either. No, it was Flowers and Riv doing a hype introduction when they walked out side by side. It was TSM.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. And that was actually it was pretty hype. But then when I
did that in spring,
yes, right. It was double lift against Bjergsen. That was the whole theme of it, right? And so you don't need music. However, when I think back to when I went to MSI in Barcelona and All Stars in Barcelona, and they had like the live band, they had Pentacle.
Okay.
That was super sick. That was super sick, and it did its job of being overly hype. I think that the choice of this band wasn't wrong. I went back and listened to their song. I could see how it's hype. I feel like the band let down Riot. Like, the performance was ass. It was 100% ass. She was not a good singer live, without autotune, without production, and it seemed like, hey, this song itself is cool. If it played live, it'd be cool. But her performance is everything that Dom encapsulated, and I don't
even agree with that. I feel like just from knowing the community and knowing the people that play this game, it seems like the overall like genres of music that most people enjoy are rap and like DnB electronic music. So it's like, I feel like those are the things that you want to hit if you're marketing to this audience. It just shows that they have no clue who the fuck plays their game.
Yes.
Like, they're like, Jax Anderson, these people are going to be fucking hot. Who the fuck is Jax Anderson? I don't even know who Jax Anderson is. I've never heard of her until this game. Like,
this is literally like when they hired Ninja for New Year's Eve. It's like, you don't know who your fucking audience is, who's going to be out there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's to me it just seems like such a ridiculous choice. And legitimately, if you look around the world, wildcard regions are getting better opening performances than we are. What? Like, why is Brazil getting like the Pentacle band and we're getting this?
Because it costs less to use people. It costs less to produce a big event.
So like, having seen a lot of opening performances and been with Riot for a long time, and even back in like 2013, I went to Worlds, right? Went to the finals, and that was like what, Crystal Method and stuff like that. I think it was like, I don't have a lot of opening ceremonies that stick in my head and I remember very vividly and feel like enhance the performance. A lot of times I sit there and I'm like, can we get to the games or like introduce the players in a hype fashion and then go? I'm not really there for an opening ceremony, and it kind of like makes me wonder like what the purpose of an opening ceremony is. And if it's to hype up the crowd, there are more efficient ways to do it in esports. I just feel like player introductions and opening ceremonies have been historically weak throughout like almost all esports. So I'm just sitting there
it's
going
always
like,
cringe. It's
just
always cringe.
get to the fucking games, get them out there, get the players going, and that's what people are there to see. I understand you want some pomp and circumstance around the live performance, but I think like if you aren't like, I would say like if you can cut opening ceremonies and save up that budget to just put it into a big performance like fucking Imagine Dragons, like having, you know,
Or the KDA thing was fine.
Yeah, like having those types of performances for large events. Like I'm saying this as in like summer finals, spring finals, in my opinion, you don't need opening ceremonies for those things. That's, so in my opinion, kind of a waste of money. Pull that money, put it towards like international events. And I think that you're going to have a way better experience for the people who get to be there. Right. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
My thing on opening ceremonies is I think Riot probably wants to fill that time. There's like an amount of time the broadcast has to be, and because it's best of 5 matches, there's a lot of variance. So if they have static things like opening ceremonies, like that's never gonna like be shorter. So I think it's
then just fucking do extended analyst desk like they like to do, you know? Because I remember being in,
I would rather listen to fucking Dash talk for 30 minutes and listen to 2 more minutes of Jax Anderson.
Yeah. I'll be honest, like I remember doing was it Miami in 2018, and they were like, okay, this is going to go faster than normal. It's like, really? So we had like 15-minute openings because it was like they would do player introduction into us talking for 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. It was us talking for like 15 minutes. Then it was like opening ceremony with players coming out on stage. It wasn't really any band or anything like that. No music. Then it came back to us and it was like 15 minutes total of that. It's just make that shit an hour and do like, because you're supposed to hype people up. If people are going to sit there and listen to the analyst desk, you can start building storylines for the rest of the day instead of having to building them throughout. So I just think if you have a time restraint, just start the broadcast a little earlier, put the analysts out there, have them talk, fucking get Facecheck on there. Like, dude, holy shit.
Exactly.
One thing I noticed, and I think Riot also took notice of it too, because they did the queue up with Dash and Svenskeren and Dash and Double Lift, like really fucking good, by the way. As someone really like that, as someone that does podcasts, I think that was one of the best podcast formats and like content for League of Legends in a long while.
I disagree. I disagree completely. I thought it was pretty bad.
Really?
But yeah, go. Yeah, I thought it was really bad.
Let Loco finish, then we can go on that.
Yeah. So,
that's good. We got conflicting opinions.
Okay, so what they should do is they fly out pros all the time because of fan meet and stuff. If you have pros out there, like if you have like Afro and Bang there, like bring on Afro and Bang and have them talk about bot lane matchup. Have them talk about Core JJ double versus Sneaky Zazel. If you have Bjergsen out there for TSM, have them talk about, I play versus Jensen, I play versus Niski. Here's what I think of them both. Like that section being filled with other pros in the league and like getting their opinion and having someone interviewing like before the game starts and getting people more invested into the matchup, getting people more invested into the storyline. Like that would be so much better. And these pros, everyone wants to be on camera. Like no one likes like just sitting home. And when they go to these events, like they want to participate. So they do fan meets, but that's just like sitting there and doing like hours and hours of, hi, nice to meet you. I hope you have a good time in Detroit. Hi, nice to meet you. I have a good time in Detroit. Yeah, I appreciate the support. Like it's boring as hell. Like pros want to participate. Like let them do that.
So a couple of things to that, and then we can close out the ceremony and then get to the podcast. I think with the ceremony, it is one way that they also think about it that no one's hit on is that it's a celebration of the end of the season. So I think that's why there are performances along, and Loco took my other point, which was really good. You need to fill time and static time, and there's only so much that you can talk about. Loco also gives a very good alternative by using the players. But not all players are great in terms of talking, speaking, and able to think on their feet, and as well as just the logistics of swapping in and out players and how do you fit that in without a commercial break or without a video in between. Like, how do you properly get them in and out logistically? So I think that's why they don't do that as much, but they did do that, right? They had Huni and Huni and Cody, I think, on the broadcast. They had Meteos. They had the wrestler. They had guests.
We're talking about We're talking about before the game starts. Of course, they're gonna have guests on the analyst desk. I don't think that's like revolutionary.
Oh, so just like to set up the stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have them before. I mean, there was like times where I remember like I think in one of the third place matches I played, they had Meteos on the desk before the matches even were played. So I mean, I think that works.
That was Madison Square Garden, yeah.
Yeah, it was Madison Square Garden. So I don't know. I think that just in general, like any type of content that's not like I either want to see like a decent performance, like at least like an okay performance, or just nothing. Like
Something
I don't think there just doesn't need to be a shit performance.
Yeah.
It's like if we're gonna get this level of performance, just can the whole thing. Play literally anything. Like they're so good at making those like hype montages, right? Like the
hype
like,
montages were
Jensen versus Niski. Imagine if they just had like the Jensen versus like C9, and then it was just like they interview Sneaky, and they're like, "Yeah, I mean, I think the Jensen was the problem of our team." And then Jensen's like, "Yeah, I just have 4 better teammates, and that's why we're gonna win." Like it just became like this just interesting thing to watch, where like it gets you excited. It's like, damn, they both talk shit. Which one of them is gonna be fucking wrong? I like that type of stuff. Literally, like, yeah, even the fucking the thing from the chat, just do Silent Speedway. Literally anything instead of this, man. Like, it is just so. It just makes you just like embarrassed for like it's just embarrassing, right? Because like as somebody who's like involved in just like, let's say I'm also involved in the streaming community besides for just League of Legends community. I go on live stream fail, and like the #1 post is like disgustingly horrible opening ceremony in League of Legends finals. And then like everyone in the comments is like, holy shit, what the fuck happened to this game?
I'm not a League streamer, I'm a TFT streamer. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no. So like I'm like the whole time that I look at it, I'm just like, God, this just makes us look so bad because like any community, like it's such a horrible performance that people outside of our community that aren't going to hear about the games, they're not going to hear, hey, guess what? TO did a 4-peat. They won the finals 3-2. Like they're not going to hear that. The only thing they hear is like, holy shit, League of Legends is some like corny shit. Like this is some bullshit that went on like before the matches. Like this is the level of like League of Legends. All the other esports are just laughing at us. Like, look at these dumbasses. Look at Jax Anderson. I bet like they probably think based off that performance that the League of Legends fans like that type of stuff. And it's just so sad.
It's very out of touch. Like that's the thing is the opening ceremony, if they're going to have it, any artist at all, it has to be relevant to your audience. And
DJ Khaled, let's go.
Yeah, come on, man.
Do the 2-step.
The Overwatch League. See, like I'm just saying, like opening ceremonies and like closing ceremonies and just like musical acts have just been really missed most of the time in esports. Like it's just been terrible. You said something, Degon, that I wanted to touch on where you were like about celebrating the season. Yeah. I think the biggest celebration of the season is the rollout montage at the end of the finals. Is always something I love watching because it's an encapsulation of like all of the teams, all of the hype moments of the season in like 5 minutes. I think that shit could easily just replace the opening ceremony and become that into the finals, right? Like I think that shit gets me really hyped, and it has like this feeling of like, damn.
Yeah.
Montage of summer season, and then what if it shows semifinals, and then it's like ... like what's next, and then the lights turn off, and then we have like player introductions.
That would be good. And I think that because of it just felt so clunky. Like even just production is like, hey, when they were cutting to her and then trying to cut to the camera up top to show like the clips, and then the camera in the Megatron like cut back to her, so now you're just looking at both of her instead of Spence Garen or whatever. It just felt. It felt like that's why I feel like everyone's like, oh, it's this one person or whoever made that decision. I was like, it feels like it was kind of like just clunky overall, and Jax Anderson's performance was like not good, and they wouldn't have picked them if they knew it was going to be that bad. And I could see what they thought. However, it just didn't come together, and now we have a clear example of what not to do, right? What a bad result is. What a bad result is.
People are going to bash like Jax Anderson. I think like some of that is warranted for the performance, but I will always bash the person that hired it. I'll bash Riot on this one because I think that they should have known who they should have done their research into her live performances. If they were like something, then maybe this was just like a big hit or I guess a miss for her. But they should know what their audience is into, and it's completely not relevant at all. Like, she's not set up for success. Even if she knocked it out of the park, people would be like, this still kind of isn't my music. You know, this isn't my jam. Like, what the fuck? So I don't think she's set up for success. And I'm always when something like that happens, I'm always a little bit on the side of like what was going on in her ear production wise. Like, sometimes side tone is all fucked and shit too. So
I think I speak for everybody when I say this is our yikes of the week here with our favorite yikes. contestants right on there. Let's go back to another point that you guys were talking about earlier. New piece of content that came out from Riot, the Q, I believe. It's the podcast with Dash and multiple different people. This time it was Double Lift and Sven Skaren. Aiden, you go, because we know that Loco and Dom don't agree on it. I thought it was in-depth and interesting. What did you think on it?
I'm more on the side of like, I think it's a good thing to have in general, and I think it's a different type of product that I've always wanted to do. Dash and I always talked about doing podcasts and stuff aside from the dive back when I was in Riot, and he's always wanted to like do interviews, and I've always wanted to like dive into player history. Like I want to ask Smoothie stuff like, you know, what's it like going from being an auto-relegated support, getting like, you know, last place in the LCS into, you know, he was voted, what is it, like we had like the top 5 of the week, and this his final week he got like this honors. Then he got picked up by, you know, like different teams. He goes to C9, you know, he goes to TSM, right? And so it's this huge kind of like up and down for this guy. So I'd love to like go into player histories and sit down with them and talk about it. But I think that this is a great opportunity, and I want to see it evolve. And I think like when you hit home runs with this, it's where you can get like 4 mid laners on your show, right? Like if it's Dash, Froggen, Bjergsen, Jensen, and let's throw in Niski, right? And you can even just have all of you guys chilling, and then you ask somebody, like you're like, all right, if you guys could give Niski one piece of advice about how he plays, what would you say to him? And he's like right there, right? Like they do that shit in Smash, and I love seeing that. Like I love seeing that in the Melee community is when they have those types of interviews, and the players will talk about their lane. They'll talk about like, what could this guy do better? And they're like, dude, you kind of play like really aggressive sometimes. Like that's the shit that we like to see, is players talking about their roles with each other. So I want to see more of that, and a little less of like what we saw from Dash this time.
So Dom, you felt you had a negative connotation of it.
Yeah, I thought it was like, so I like the concept of it, but I just felt like overall the questions were like really shallow. Like at the end of like the section, like they would go through like a section, right? And at the end of it, I'd be like, damn, what did I learn about Double Lift based off that? And it's like they went to, like, just even the beginning was just like, oh, like what does it mean to be the best? Let's define the best. And it's like the whole thing is just to like pretty much say that he's the best. And it's like, I know he's the best, right? And then it's like, it's like, oh, what do you do to be the best? It's like, well, I try to be the best. It's like, oh shit, well then you're the fucking best. Like I don't know, like it just seems like weird. It's like, okay, 10 minutes to just hear this shit. Like this is like when I watch an interview like a Thorin interview, right? Mm-hmm. That the questions are just so much more in depth that I feel like I learned so much more about the person, so much more about the player. Whereas something like this, I don't feel like I really got to know anything more about Double Lift. It just felt like it was really drawn out, and like the whole purpose was to like show how good he was, right? But it's like, I know how good he is. It's like, if I want to hear him talk, I want him to like, or I would just want like more deep like answers into like what things are, instead of like just these really like, I know that he's won like, or I think now he's won like 6 or 7 titles or something. Like I know he's won a fuck ton of titles. Like all that stuff is like already like documented. So like just being able to like just going on and on and on and just trying to get to like this overall like perception of we're shaping him. Like it seems like they're trying to write a narrative.
Yeah, definitely.
It feels like they're like I'm gonna do like 15 minutes of creating another narrative for like our thing, but I just don't really like fuck with that much. I just think it's not interesting. Like it could be so much better. Like if you sit down, you get to sit down with Double Lift for 45 minutes to talk to him, and that's the best you could get. I don't know. I feel like you could get so much more out of that guy.
So look, I know you haven't gone yet and you have ideas, but I disagree with that, because I think the way that like crafting the narrative part, because I think the way that Thorin interviews, it's a different style, and I like it, and Thorin's fantastic at it. But the way that Thorin interviews, he's actually crafting the narrative, right? He's the one that chooses, like he feels comfortable in asking a question that directs where the conversation was going. The way that Dash interviewed it, and it reminds me of how he runs the desk, it was very go with the flow. It was, hey, whatever you want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. I will gently nudge you in this direction in terms of, hey, what is perfection? But most of the time, it's going to be whatever you want to say. Whatever you want to say for this 20 minutes.
You don't think there were canned questions, Daniel?
I think that there was like There were 2 canned questions per interview, so like 4 overall. But most of it was, hey, if Doublelift's gonna talk in a circle, like my job is to not let him talk in a circle, not say these are the specific questions, right? So like when it was like when you were talking about the perfection thing, like he spent a lot of time on what is perfection and how did you chase it and all that stuff. That's him kind of like letting Peter do Peter and like say, all right, what do you think about your own legacy, and then just your thoughts of that.
But that's like it's like they breeze over the parts that are interesting. Like the interesting part of Doublelift is like you were losing for a fuck ton, like you were losing a ton, right? And then you just started winning a ton. There was like a distinct moment where you just became like a winner from being a loser. I would love to hear like somebody really go deep down and figure out like what were the core things that you needed to like let go of? What was the main things that you needed to like focus on? Like how did you evolve in those like splits to really like elevate yourself above the rest of the competition? Like where did you feel like you hit the walls? Like all that stuff is so fucking interesting to me, but it just feels like it's so like, okay, well you're losing, now you're winning, now you're the best. How does it feel? Great. Okay, next. Like I don't know.
Hey, he did go into that a little bit. He talked about the choker part. He talked about the choker part.
That's what's like. Okay, I was actually fighting that this interview was good and I loved the queue, but oh my god, like there are parts that I didn't like. Let's talk about like the parts I did like. I love that it was like one-on-one, you're actually talking to a player and it can be in depth, and I love the setting of it, and Dash is very professional and Dash makes everything easy to listen to. The criticism I had for it was like the content itself. Like there were some questions where I was just like, why do you fucking ask this? Like you're one-on-one with a player and this is a thing you're gonna ask. Like when they mentioned like the Soul Bros thing and like
that was so bad.
That was bad. Buddies, like I was like, why, Dash? You know that there were parts that I was extremely frustrated with, and I will tag on to what Dom said. Like you're one-on-one with Doublelift and you're touching on so much fluff stuff. I would have loved if they touched on when Doublelift used to suck and he didn't win anything. What was it like watching people win everything around you? What was it like when your trophy case was empty? Now what's it like knowing you are set up to be potentially the best player ever in LCS? Like once he did this 4P, Bjergsen Doublelift is no longer a question. It's Doublelift and then Bjergsen, and then we can talk about whoever we want to talk about. And also like TSM,
people talk about Smithy now because Smithy just tied Bjergsen in terms of titles. So.
They talked about Smithy. They talked about Smithy.
Yep.
And then also now it's like TSM is having a garbage year. Doublelift used to be on TSM. Doublelift loves trash talking TSM. I know it's not really a Riot thing to bash on a team, but that's something I would have loved to hear. What's Doublelift's take on TSM right now, and what are the problems?
It is relevant.
Daniel, don't tell me they touched on it. They didn't really go into it. They breezed over it. Like they could actually go into it.
I go back to the subreddit and I enjoy seeing that. I enjoy seeing people say, "Why did we get rid of Doublelift?" Like that's as far as you're going to go in a Riot product.
They don't like tie it into like Doublelift himself. So like, I mean, I feel like the way you do it is like the last thing was like, okay, so this team kicked you, right? Like that is the huge like piece of strife, and then it would be like, how does it feel like knowing that, you know, you've outperformed their expectations? How does it feel knowing that they made the wrong decision, or like you've proved to yourself that they made the wrong decision? Like I feel like there's ways you frame it within like where Doublelift is still relevant. So it's not like, hey, TSM fucking sucks. Like you used to be on TSM, you hate them. Like I don't know. I just feel like there's different ways to get there. Like if you just like if you have a better opening question, and like the way that you get to what you want to is much easier than if you just like start super broad and then you just have to like specify over and over. Like it just felt like everything started way too broad. The first question is like, what does it mean to be the best? And then like the answer was like, it means that there's no one that's better than you. Like, all right, like thanks, dude. I'm like that's what I needed out of Doublelift. That's a minute of content right there.
Also, Riot can't be more adventurous and content like this. I understand the LCS, like that product, and like it being on Twitch, it being on YouTube, and it being broadcasted, and it having like sponsors involved. I understand like it has to be PC to a certain regard, but Riot can't be more adventurous. Like this is just for their YouTube. Like this is sitting down one-on-one with the player. Be more in depth, or they're gonna have other people do it, and other people don't get this kind of access to players. Like no one has the opportunity to do this other than Riot. Like if you are gonna make product like this, like go the full distance. Like don't half-ass it. You have a great interviewer in Dash, and you're getting to talk to players like Doublelift and Spence Garand for what, like hour each. Like make the most of it.
And I think they will. I think this is something that you get better over time. You massage through it, and this is again, as you said, the first time that Riot is sitting down in these long form type one-on-one intimate interviews, and I think here's a great opportunity to do that. We have a lot of criticisms for it, but Dash is, in my opinion, the best host in esports, and he's going to be able to get this done. That's what
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not up to him. Like, he doesn't get to decide like how deep he can go. Like, it's more like what does Riot decide is their limit?
What is
are we gonna
appropriate?
Yeah.
What is going to be comfortable, right? Yeah.
A little bit. I think they could always fix it in post. He can ask whatever he wants, and then they can be, now I want to get to this part, just cut to the PC part.
Wait, there's one part, or I want to say, when he did the one with Zben, I thought it was way more in depth, and I learned so much more about Zben, and it didn't feel as surface level. It was I forgot when they did it, but they did this with Zben, and it was just so much better. When was that? Was it? I think it might have been last summer. No, where it was like Dash interviewed Zben, and then Pastry Time interviewed one person.
Before the finals.
It was like, but those were much shorter.
Those were shorter, but it still felt better and still felt like it wasn't as fluffy.
Yeah, those are a little bit longer, and then they cut them down to like 10 minutes or whatever they are. But yeah, Dash has always wanted to do long form content, and so have I. But I think he's been more on the side of wanting to do things kind of like Anderson Cooper like. And I always wanted to go like really deep because my background's psychology. Like I always wanted to know shit about how the players felt in very specific moments, but also like it's like when did Doublelift does he think he was a bad teammate before? It's like when is the moment, if you had to pinpoint it, that you realized you were a bad teammate? Like when did it sink in? And
did the Afro having ultimatum on you, what if it's either me or him, did that have an effect on you? What kind of effect did it have on you when like TSM kicked you? Did you ever doubt for a second that you're going to be good with Team Liquid? Like it is TSM, it is Bjergsen.
Yeah, but it's even like your lane mate that you had for so long said it's me or him. I don't want to know like how you felt about Afro. I want to know about how you felt about it, right? Like how you felt about you afterwards. What did you think about yourself?
Dang.
Right.
Aiden coming in with the hard-hitting questions. Yeah.
I mean, picking up Jensen, like, did you recruit Jensen? Like, how did Jensen end up on the team? Were you unhappy with Hubelt or Ole? Like, these kind of questions, like, people want answers to. Maybe people don't care nowadays, but I think it's something that I genuinely want to know. Like, what are these relationships like? Like, what's the future for TL? Like, now that if you four-peat, like, what's it going to be after that? Like, what is it like looking forward to Worlds? What's it like comparing yourself to G2? There's this monster over there. Like, do you think West has a better shot? Do you think NA actually is as bad as European people say? Like, they're just better questions that they could have touched on. And I agree, there were a lot of fluffy stuff that didn't need to be there.
Yeah,
it's interesting because to me it feels like, because I'm thinking from Dash's point of view, he covered almost everything, but it took a little while longer to get there, and two, it doesn't go as in depth as I think you guys want it, and the way that you guys have articulated the question.
Dude, if you're coming to YouTube to watch like a Doublelift Spenskeren interview that's 1 hour 30,
people are gonna just watch it anyways.
You're not a casual esport fan. This is not a casual esport fan content. If you're a casual vanilla esport fan, you have Travis interviews. Like, you do it to there. No, genuine. I think Travis does a good job of providing interviews for casual fans. Like, if you're watching,
so what anime are you watching today?
If you're watching a 1 hour 30-minute interview with Doublelift and Spenskeren, you are a mega nerd. You are so invested into League of Legends, and you want to know like deep questions. You want to know kind of the harder answers. Like, that's what you want to know. That's why you're here.
Or maybe you just have your own podcast and you want to compare it to your own. See if it's better. Like, who knows? It could be anything.
Thank you, Dom. All right.
This is not for casual fans, so don't make this content for casual fans because that's not who's watching this.
Your audience.
It's a 1 hour 30-minute interview. Come on, right? You know that.
That's good. What's up, LS? All right. Any last thoughts?
I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah.
Finally. And I think Dash is like the person to do it, and he's a class act, and he'll get it together. I have full faith in him.
Last thoughts, Dom?
No, I mean, I gave all my opinions on it pretty much. I just wish it was more in depth. That's it.
All right, cool. Well, we'll keep an eye on the queue, and we're excited for it. Now that we got through a lot of the rough stuff about finals, let's head back to Detroit for the action. TL, Cloud9. Obviously a fantastic series. Cloud9 with the opportunity to close it out, and the one moment in Game 4 where everything went wrong, and then Game 5 was a beatdown for the ages. No deaths on Jensen, MVP of the series. Loco, lead us off here. The whole series in general, Game 1 through Game 5. What are your thoughts?
game 1 through game 5. I'll start with like some of the starting points.
Yeah.
So I think C9 and TL both had like really, really strong identities. I think C9's best strengths are put Niski on an AD assassin type champion, Kiana, Irelia, Yasuo, have Svenskeren play Gragas, and that 2v2, and then playing around mid and jungle is their strongest strengths, and that's how they beat TL. As for Team Liquid, their strongest strength and their biggest differentiator is just bot lane. Like Sneaky is so much worse than Doublelift, and how much they abuse that and how much they snowball that into taking it into team fights was like core for TL. And watching game 1 and game 2, I really liked how the series started. It's like TL saying, this is how we beat you, Cloud9, and then Cloud9 returning with, okay, well, this is how we beat you. And then after that, the series kind of got really predictable. Or after game 3,
I didn't think so. I didn't think those one part that threw me off really hard, which is why Sejuani lost so much priority in the series. I felt like that was like one of the key picks to why C9 was beating TL. Like it was like Sejuani versus Skarner both games. Mm-hmm. The Sedge can never, or the Skarner can never fight the Sedge. The Sedge is just like getting every kill around the map. They played the Kiana game, they played the Aurelia game, they played Aurelia Sedge, etc. And it had such insane priority. They were first picking it, right? And then suddenly they just picked Gragas for like no reason. It felt like TL had no answer to the Sedge. It was like they played 2 games of Sedge, and both times they played Sedge, TL answered with Skarner, and both times it looked terrible. So then why, like at what point was it like, let's drop Sedge? Because one of their biggest strengths is that Niski is really good on melee mid laners, right? Including things like Aatrox. Yeah. So including things like Aatrox, he plays Akali, he plays Kiana, he plays Aurelia, like he plays Silas, he plays all these champions well. Those champions are super, super good with Sejuani. And then they just randomly like went away from it. And I was so confused. Like it was getting first picked in like in the previous games, in like game 1, 2, and 3, it's like one of the first picks possible. And then by game 5, it's getting banned on the second rotation of bans. I don't know. It seemed really weird.
Zion, your take on it?
Well, I think this episode title should just be Digon was right. Maybe they should have put Deathly in. Maybe they would have won if they put Deathly in, dude. Like, I don't know, Digon.
It blew up.
I don't know.
Sneaky looked so bad. And they just needed a consistent presence in the bot lane to negate the strength of TL, but they're saving it for Worlds. They're saving it for the World Finals, Cloud9 against Team Liquid. It's going to be the secret skill. But
that's why.
Go on, Zyrene, sorry.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was night and day difference. Like, Sneaky was 100% outclassed by Doublelift, and the jungle matchup, I thought they were supposed to like leverage Svenskeren, and I thought the way they won was by leveraging him very heavily, like I thought they would. But the Sejuani abandon, like you guys were talking about, was very confusing to me. I was struggling to really feel like Niski outside of a few champions was like really doing better than Jensen, and they had to find another point of power, right? Because Impact is just going to neutralize, or even did really well this series. The jungle, Svenskeren will usually have a bit of an advantage, and then it's mid lane. It's like, well, if you're going even, you're still going to lose the game because your bottom lane is just getting trounced. So you had to find some way to either have Sneaky play safer, or for your mid lane to have some type of synergy with your jungle where you guys can take over the map, whether it's through mid. Because mid was like, there were so many kills in mid lane. So I thought that was going to be really bloody.
I just wonder what happened, like that they thought that their plan wasn't good anymore. When they were first picking Sedge, when they were like, first pick Sedge with a mid, like they could have easily got Sedge Kiana game 4, right? They got Kiana. They could have first picked Sedge. They picked Gragas. Sedge just went all the way through, right? It was like Gragas versus Skarner, and no one cared about Sejuani the whole time. It's like, what happened in between game 3 and game 4? Like, because they shit on TL so hard.
Was that the one where they first picked Gragas?
They first picked Gragas.
They first picked Gragas, and then they picked Kiana in the second rotation. So like,
you don't think that was a different problem? They should have won that game when they were diving Impact over and won. They should have won that game. I don't think that was.
But also, I think that Impact just played the lane so bad where you can't even really say that it's like oh, their draft was fine. Like, I don't see. So like, let's say they had Sejuani Kiana instead of Gragas Kiana, and they did that same top. They're like, what? Like, this guy, like, he's dead 100% like every time, no matter what their champions are in that situation. So I just don't understand. Like if you're going into a series with like the mentality of like Sejuani is the most OP jungler, like it's first pick game 1. TL smashes with it. It was literally up till game 4. It was whoever got Sejuani won the game. That's what it was. So at what point was it like, this is not good enough? Like we still have melee like assassin opportunities for mid, but we just can't run the Sedge. I just don't understand why why it lost so much priority.
I think it was because like he had done so well on Gragas, and Gragas was amazing, and they were banning it previously. And Gragas is actually really good into Skarner, because if Skarner ever like grabs somebody, you just hit him with E, you R him into the team, and it's basically useless, right? So like Gragas is better into Skarner than Sejuani is. So I think they were saying, oh, let's just first pick the Gragas here. He's pretty much going to play Skarner, and that's like a counter for us. So I think they were tunneling on that aspect of it, of that Gragas had been banned and they were afraid of it.
Also, another thing is TL bot lane is extremely scary, and I think Cloud9 knows so. And I think Cloud9 was so deathly afraid of giving them certain things. They were so afraid of giving them Sona. They banned Caitlyn in Game 5. Oh my god, that ban tilted me out of nowhere. And another core thing that people probably didn't notice is, but they were completely unwilling to ever give them Xayah Rakan. If there were ever a situation where they can get both Xayah and Rakan, they ban one, or they make sure they pick the Xayah early to make sure Doublelift and
well, I mean, it's because of game. It's because of Game 1, right? Like they tried versus Xayah Rakan. That doesn't bother me that much, because you tried to give them Xayah Rakan and you got like level 4 solo killed, but like the duo just got fucking killed, and then Doublelift was just up fucking like 1.5k after Sneaky like RNG roamed mid and got 2 kills because TL misplayed where Core JJ missed his whole combo with Rakan. Like that doesn't bother me, because you've experimented, and like based off those results, I wouldn't give them fucking Xayah Rakan for the rest of the series either. It's like we got smashed so fucking hard, and I'm sure that was they played a lane that was fine to Xayah Rakan. I don't think it was like super surprising, because TL plays a fuck ton of Xayah Rakan like when it's up, right? So if they played their best, like what they thought their best lane into Xayah Rakan was, and they get shit on, okay, you can't give it to them for the rest of the series.
I really don't. I will agree with you. Like Game 5, that Sejuani drafting was a huge problem. But for Game 4, I don't think that was a. Maybe in hindsight they go and redo it, but I think Game 4, Cloud9 is pretty happy with their draft.
Yeah, that's kind of the pivotal game for me, right? Because Cloud9 not only are up 2-1 at that point, but although I don't think they were up in gold because Jensen was smashing the shit out of Niski, but they had the tempo. They had negated Aatrox in the top lane on Impact.
I mean, it was so clear that Impact didn't know the matchup. Yeah. He just didn't know the matchup. Like, he hasn't played against Poppy. Like, not many people play Poppy into Aatrox. Like, the way he traded level 2
was so bad.
Like, he hasn't played against Poppy. Like, he wasn't respecting like the Buckler grass proc, which is like the huge thing about Poppy, right? You have to play around the Buckler grass proc because that shit just does a fuck ton of damage. And he just like was standing in like max range, just trying to QCS, and then he just gets all in and just, I don't know, man. It was just really, really bad. Like, he normally doesn't fuck up that bad in lane, which is kind of like something that I noticed about this. Just like, I feel like TL, even based off like the small bits of communication that they showed on the broadcast, they thought they were playing bad. Like, they were having a bad series for sure. Like, they were having uncharacteristic bad mistakes. And it kind of worries me, because normally like that's kind of how I felt about the CG series too. And TL just had like 2 bad best of 5s for their standards. Like, I'm pretty sure they're not happy about how they played. They had so many just like people just getting picked off, or like ints, like the Impact, like so many individual mistakes, right? Like the Impact being top in Game 3 and Game 2, like when Smithy was playing Skarner, he was just getting caught like all the time.
That was bad.
Like just nonstop. Like, and it was just in the weirdest situations. Like, you have both your solo laners just pushing out the side lanes, and you're group 3 mid versus 5, and like the enemy team is just collapsed, and then you're like starting off a fight and stuff. Like, it was just really, really weird seeing just the way they played. So like, I'm kind of nervous, because I don't know if we'll get their best performance at Worlds. Like, we might just get another, because this Team Liquid is losing to like 2nd seed European team, 3rd seed European team pretty easy.
Loco, make my point. We're on the same page. Make my point.
Wait, Dom, you've been to Worlds. You boot camp for Worlds. You know what it's like. It doesn't matter like what you go in as. It's how you come out of the boot camp. Like, that's what really matters. Like, just fucking make Worlds, and after that, the boot camp will level you up so much, because you actually get to play versus
teams. I get
punished.
I don't view it as like a problem where like they're not good enough. I view it as like they're not performing to the level that they can on stage. Like, they're underperforming on stage for themselves, like just individually, where it doesn't come down to like your practice or whatever. Like, it's just simple mistakes, right? Like, it's trading in ridiculous ways. Even in like game 2, I think it was, when they played Tom Kench Varus, and they just die to like 50 ganks in a row where they know the person is there, they see the person on a ward, and they just keep on fighting and dying. It's like these types of mistakes, it's like I don't know if they're a little bit uncomfortable on stage now, or like they're supposed to be a veteran team, so like seeing them go down this road kind of like made me nervous. Like, damn, I could see the collapse at Worlds. You know, I can see them playing like this in group stage and getting beaten by like teams they shouldn't get beaten by, and just not making out of groups again. Like, it looks like it's shaky right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
without either of us knowing like
don't really see
what,
that.
without either of us knowing about how scrims are going to be, what the groups are going to be, do you think this TL doesn't make it out of groups? They're going to go as first seed. You think they're
as first seed?
Yeah.
I mean, they should make it out of groups. They should have made it out of groups last year, though. Probably.
I think this TL makes it out of groups, and then we'll see like the quarterfinals matchup. But like this is a team like that's going to be.
No, I would if I had to do a prediction, I would say they make it out of groups. But I don't like making that prediction. It feels bad. It's like, oh, like if they didn't make it out of groups and people were like, ha, idiot, like how did you not see it coming? It's like, yeah, I kind of did. That's how I feel.
I think
going back to game 4, or
yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, just to close it out, and then we'll bring it back to game 4. I think if they are performing this bad, and they know they're performing this bad, and they're still able to come out with performances like this, it's very much what Loco said. Like, let them take time, clean it up. It's not like they're unaware of how bad they're playing. It's just like, hey, this is what it is. Like, Clutch goes, like, Clutch is going to be happy with the way that they played, but Clutch's ceiling is so much shorter than everybody else's, or they don't know where that ceiling is. And I think that's
I really hope Clutch doesn't go. I feel like they'll just get fucking smashed internationally.
All right, send TSM then. That's going to be great.
We'll talk about it when we go to Gauntlet.
Speak of the world beater. All right, back to game 4, Loco.
Dude, look at C9's comp. They have Gragas, Kiana, All-Star Poppy. They have so much engaged tools. They got the top dive done. Bot lane didn't get busted open. They pick up first Herald. I just cannot, like, how do they mess up these bottom dives? Like, how did they get engaged on mid lane? Like, Gragas got engaged on by the enemy team having Skarner, LeBlanc. When you have, like, 4 engaged tools, it was miraculous that TL won that game, and I cannot imagine how badly C9 played after they got their lead. It's just, them messing up that bottom dive was, what the hell? Oh.
It's so much harder to play Gragas than play Sejuani as well. Like, those situations, many of those situations are Gragas issues. Like, they're losing because Svenskeren steps up like a little bit too close and he loses like 80% of his health bar instantly, or he tried to like cancel Jensen out of his distortion one time and just got QRE'd and like lost 85% of his health and had to Zanyas and just useless for the whole fight. Like, this is why, just in general, like if something is working and it's like a simple plan and they don't really have like answers to it that you see, let's say you do pick the Sejuani, like they leave Gragas open. That's like the curveball, right, in the draft. What happens if you pick Sejuani and then they pick Gragas and then they show that it's like, oh shit, this guy actually plays the Gragas Sejuani matchup better? Then I feel like game 5 you switch it. But I hate seeing them just not do what worked for them in game 2 and 3 in game 4 or game 5. They just didn't. They just avoided it, you know. And at the end of the day, like the last game, like I didn't even like the jungle picks at all. Like they just literally. I mean, I guess it kind of just shows like how jungle is right now. But it's like Jarvan versus Zen, like just doesn't fucking matter. It's just like everyone's just playing the same champion, you know? Like it's just like, all right, whatever. Like we're both playing shit junglers now. We banned all the junglers that are playmakers, and now we're just both playing dog shit junglers. Like, dude, I don't know.
Game 5 was so sad. Game 5, I think Cloud9 almost already knew they lost, like just from how they played and their draft. And also the Vladimir into Shen, it reminded me so much of the TSM when they picked Vlad into, I forgot who, they picked it into Clutch. I forgot what Cooney was playing, but they were playing Vlad into Rumble, where the top laner feels like they can't trust their bot lane anymore, and the top lane feels like he has to carry, so he's going to pick Vladimir. It was very reminiscent of Broken Blade doing it to TSM, and Vlad is not going to turn on in this meta. Like, Vlad in this meta, you need to be level 16, you need to get those 2 items early. Like, all the other top lane champions are just so much more relevant than you. Oh my god, I fucking hated that Vlad pick. I hated it when TSM picked it. I hated it when C9 picked it.
Yeah, I liked it that in the final game, it felt like TL just had comfort champions. Like, Impact has always loved Shen. He's always been a really insane Shen player. And just throwing that curveball I thought was super good, because I don't think that C9 really planned on flexing Aatrox mid this series. Like, I think it was something that they had like as an option, but they weren't like, oh, we just flex the Aatrox, right? So then they ended up in a situation where they're like, fuck, the enemy team picked Shen. Shen is like, especially after the Shen buffs that came in recently, he's decent matchup into Aatrox. Okay, we got to like rotate the Aatrox mid and play the Vlad. Like you could tell that was not one of the comps they spent most of their time on. It was like a really fringe draft situation where it's like, oh shit, well if they do pick this, then we have like this is our answer. But it wasn't something that they were like super confident on. I felt.
And also the Vladimir pick into Relia too. Like, god damn, just stop with all these Vlad picks. Like,
I mean, these aren't good Vlad players either, though. That's the problem. Like these are people that don't really play fucking Vlad. Like if you had a solid, like if you put Scarlet or somebody, right? Like somebody who like really mains Vlad into these situations, like there is logic behind why Vlad versus Aurelia is good. Right? Like you can pull a stun if it ever is gonna hit you. And like eventually, like Aurelia can't really pressure Vlad super hard. You can avoid like getting killed a lot of the time, and then you eventually scale into like this massive team fight.
Eventually, and you win, but like you don't get to scale. Like the game gets decided before that. Like there's just picks I hate in the meta right now. It's not Vladimir. It's actually Tom Kench and Karma. I think Karma is a scrim pick. I think I understand Karma beats Aatrox in scrims. Karma has priority on Aatrox the entire game over the course of the like scrim. And then Karma groups, and she's a monster team fighter, and she gives you all these buffs. But realistically, that's not happening in playoffs. Like, people are making mistakes. Like, the Aatroxes are down 10 CS, 5 CS. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. Like, even the crowd knew not to pick Karma. Even the crowd was doing holy.
Well, I think Karma's boring, but, like, I can't really fault the Karma pick because in the first game, like, right, I assume that's what you're talking about, like, the Licorice Karma game, right? Like that, or just in general.
In clutch also, in the clutch.
Yeah, the clutch series as well. Okay, but in the first game, it's like he was winning, and then they just like Sven and Niski just went for like the worst 2v2 ever. Like a level 4 Xin tried to kill a level 5 Sejuani with Aftershock and a Bomby Cinder, and they have Xin Vigard. Like TL played that scared. When I was losing it when I saw this. They played it so insanely scared. Like they were running away just because C9 played it so aggressive. But C9 never wins that 2v2. Like it's a no flash Zen versus Sedge with Aftershock and Azir. The only way they can ever win is if the Azir gets one shot somehow. But if the Azir doesn't get one shot and they blow their whole combo on Sejuani, I mean, you saw like how the trade worked. Sejuani's 600 life, 700 life with Aftershock proc, and the Zen is no cooldowns, 300 life, literally just like a worthless champion. So them like getting rotated on by the Aatrox and all dying there is more just like a Sven Niski playing like absolute animals in that situation, more than like a, oh shit, dude, like this pick just doesn't work into Aatrox. Like, well, yeah, I mean, no matter what that guy's playing, he's getting kills there. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Aatrox. Like,
what's the ideal play pattern for Karma is like nothing happens, you're beating Aatrox over and over again, and then you're stronger than in team fights, or you have priority and you can rotate, but you can get ganked. Like people make mistakes. Like the Karma side, there's such a high burden of execution. I don't think it's worth it. Like every single Karma pick I've seen on stage has been shit. I know pros keep telling me, and I know coaches keep telling me. They go on my stream, and whenever I talk about the Karma pick, they're like, "No, the Karma beats Aatrox. Karma beats Aatrox." I understand it doesn't scrimp, but realistically, that's not what I'm seeing on stage. And like pros and coaches have to see that too. Like this Karma into Aatrox thing is not working. Just get off it.
Well, it's like,
I mean, there's a lot of things that just don't work though. Like that's the type of pick that has always been bad for NA. Like the range bully top laners like Jace, etc. NA has never been able to play those because it feels like it always just evolves into like a skirmish or a team fight, and you don't get as much off those champions in skirmishes and team fights. So, I mean, I just feel like that's just a symptom of NA being bad more than it's like, oh, the pick is bad. Like I'm sure if G2 is playing Karma, they can play around Karma. You know, like they can use the Karma to counter the Aatrox, and they'll be able to like be efficient with that pick. It just feels really fucking shitty watching these NA teams just do these range matchups. Like we just suck at all range matchups. The only range champion that I've ever seen top play, like Rise top fucking suck dick as well. Like all those, every range matchup. The only thing that we could ever fucking play top was like Gnar. And that's not even really a range champion. The only reason that we can play that is because it can actually team fight and go in. So I don't know, man. I just like, we just don't play that type of style well here. It just always becomes like a skirmish. It always becomes just some like monkey fight, and then the pick is just not useless.
There's someone in chat that's like, isn't this result-based analysis? Yes, based on the results, like, and after how many results, like, you need to freaking change. Like, look at the results. Like, it's not working. This is completely result-based, yes, but just look at the gameplay. Like, how can you say elsewise?
Well, it's results based because we're getting different results here in NA than people get with the pick internationally. Like it reminded me of like the Jace Cho'Gath matchup where it's like, well, Jace is supposed to like shit on that matchup early and like make the Cho'Gath irrelevant. But if you like let up the pressure at all, the Cho'Gath now has a Bramble Vest, and then you're useless. Like you have to be able to take your matchup and basically completely decimate the opponent by having the jungler play around it, by putting pressure there, not necessarily ganking it, but just making sure they don't gank it, and then playing the lane correctly. And we just don't do that. It's the margin for error is very, very low, but you have absolute control of your situation. And that's what other regions are able to do, is use that absolute control of their situation and not mess it up. That because it's 100% on us. It's not the pick. It's 100% on the execution, right? The pick is good, in my opinion. It's just, well, it's good and because you have control, but we just aren't good at controlling those things. We aren't good at piloting at all.
TL is smart enough to stay away from that pick. Also, the other pick I really want to mention that I think is absolute garbage that people keep playing in NA is Tahm Kench. I think Tahm Kench is trash. I think TL is the best bot lane in terms of laning, in terms of scaling, in terms of playing towards it. If TL can't get away with Tahm Kench, no one can. Like, we saw CLG with Tahm Kench also. Like, this champion is just not the same after he can't... Whenever he couldn't devour Flash anymore, that killed the champion conceptually. Like, being able to devour Flash gave your AD carry a second Flash. Now that you can't do that anymore, Tahm Kench is just so shitty as a pick. I really hope people stop playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Tahm Kench is just like people are just playing it bad as well. It's another pick where it's like I can understand the value of it. Like, still, the fact that you can eat your teammate and like you do it at the perfect time, it can just completely like change the way a situation is played. But if you fuck up, then it's like you're getting 2 kills instead of 1 now. So yeah, I just feel like it's another pick where it's like people just play it because they played it for so long and they're just like, oh, it's like comfortable for like all these players. But it's I don't know. It's like you have to play it like very, very well now. It can't just be like a get out of jail free all the time.
So
all these NA supports are good at engaging anyways. Like, they're good at playing Rakan, they're good at playing Alistar. Even when they play Braum, they're good at engaging. Like, if you can engage that well and play these melee playmakers this well, like, just play these champions. Like, why are you playing Tahm Kench?
I mean, it's weird because like Core JJ had like the cleanest engages all split until the last 2 playoff series.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Like, he just looks off or something. Like, he's not hitting his like RW on Rakan. Whereas before it was like crisp. It's like, no, he's hitting everyone. Like, it's so like he gets into a team fight, everyone is CC'd. Now it's just like, damn, like that's ugly. Like, when did you stop being clean?
That thing.
Yeah, there was some ugly shit. Like, the Rakan play mid in game 1 was really ugly, dude. Like, he literally just missed everything. He W'd into the fucking cage. Like, he tried to RW somebody. He didn't hit the charm or the knockup. Got stuck in the cage trying to E and just died. Like, it was just nothing. Like, nothing happened. Like, it was damn, you actually contributed nothing to that situation.
He's been in NA for a full year, Dom. You have to take it easy on him. He's going to the world, level up,
that's what's scary, because like I thought he was the best player in NA.
Yeah, I'd be tilted if Sven got MVP over me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's even before that, dude. Last series, I thought he played weird too. Like, it just doesn't look like he's playing as well as he was in the regular season, which is strange because I feel like he was just so insanely consistent.
Yeah, I think objectively he is playing worse. These are some of his worst games.
the NA laziness is coming on in. So I wanted to pose a question that friend of the show, always try to find ways to fit him in. Thorin put out, how long till friend of the show? Yeah, how long till we take a look at Reaper and Reaper's legacy here with Cloud9 and not being able to get over the hump here, because it's been 5 years since a championship, and we've talked extensively about picks here. We've talked about picks, and this is what he controls. Well, one of the things that a coach controls here. Loco, I see the grin. Do you want to go ahead and say something about Reaper here, or the legacy so far?
I'll say something about Thorin too, and I'll probably talk to him about. I have a show with him today at 4 p.m. I'll talk to it about him then also. But you can't just talk. You can't talk about how good TL is and also criticize Reaper about not being able to get over that hump. This TL has been insane, and I'm not gonna lie. If I coach C9, I'll probably do worse than Reaper, and I think a lot of people would do worse than Reaper. It's just this TL is so extremely hard to get over.
He does not have a lot to work with. Like, if you look at all the teams that he gets the finals, but it's like if you look at all the teams that he has, like, he just has a worse team. Like, he has worse players to work with, and he has like. Out of everyone, right? He is a better player in one, maybe two positions on this team. Like,
which two are those?
I'd say jungle and maybe mid. Like, sometimes mid, but like
depending on picks, not overall, but mid depending on picks.
Yeah, mid depending on picks, you can get an advantage. jungle you would just have. I think Sven is just a better jungler than Smithy. For this whole series, that's how I felt. So how do you fucking draft when you know like your bot lane's gonna get shit on and you know that your top laner is like gonna just get outperformed at certain stages? Like it just gives you so little to work with. Like it's really hard to win, and they did win a couple times. Like through it felt
They're in
like through
position to
mainly
win.
mid jungle. Yeah. Like the Aurelia Vlad game felt like that was just like Niski outperforming Jensen like pretty heavily, and then the Sejuani versus Skarner games, it just felt like Sven outperformed the Skarner with Sejuani. That's the only way you can win. So I mean, I guess that's why I've been like hyper focused on the jungle matchup, and like why I brought up the Sejuani pick so many times is because I believe that was like the crucial thing is like you have this pick that the other jungler cannot play against right now. Like you're getting picked on all day, you're winning every 2v2, like that type of shit. Play more towards like the people that can carry, because giving like Sneaky a slightly better matchup there, he's not gonna fucking like suddenly outperform Doublelift. That's just not happening.
Yeah, he'll just go even at best.
I think the bigger criticism that I agree with Doran for is Sneaky just being a pretty average player.
Yep.
Sneaky versus Doublelift, of course there's a chasm, and Doublelift's so much better than the second best AD.
A chasm.
Yeah. What a chaotic bottom lane, man.
Yeah.
There's like a chasm, okay? there's a Grand Canyon, okay? There's Doublelift, and then there's a Grand...
Yeah, you mean Grand Chandler?
Go. Sorry.
There's an ocean between Doublelift and Sneaky, and there's an ocean between Doublelift and the next best AD carry and NA. So, oh my god, Daniel, I'm gonna get Doran to host this show if you talk to me.
Jesus.
It's just, oh my god. Like I actually thought Sneaky was one of the biggest problems for Cloud9. So I defended Sneaky when the Travis, Mark Z, and the other analysts criticism came to him during regular season. It's like it's regular season. I don't care if Sneaky's worse in regular season. He's always been kind of meh in regular season anyways. But in playoffs, but in Gauntlets, that's where he stepped up. He really hasn't. Like
I feel like the time where he steps up, I feel like he actually plays pretty well at Worlds. That's like how I've seen it. Like he plays more aggressively at Worlds for some reason. Like I feel like he's had historically good World performances, but it just like never feels like he's just gonna win NA for some reason. Like it just, when you see Doublelift for Sneaking, you just see the way they're playing. Like Doublelift is like pressuring every fucking CS. Like I am going to like get you in this fucking lane, and Sneaky's just sitting there just fucking taking it, dude. He's in cosplay, bent over, like give it to me, Double. Like it is, I don't know. It is really like, it's just so passive. Like he's such a sub. It's crazy.
In game 4.
Like that, Dom.
In game 4, jeez. In game 4,
it's just not good for winning. Like it's just not good for winning LCS.
In game 4 on the Kai'Sa, I thought he was doing his job. Again, right? His job on Kai'Sa was just scale against Doublelift's Ezreal. It's like, hey, you're more than likely not going to destroy Braum Ezreal here, so just scale. And for points of that series, again, right? The gold lead was in the mid lane for Sneaky, or for Jensen against the Kiana of Niski. So again, I think he does his job, but there are times where he doesn't and gets destroyed, and it just sneak in lane.
Wait. What's his job? What's his job?
His job is
to live.
To live. In this lane, in game 4.
To live.
His job is to get. His job in this series is to like get to team fights and be relevant.
Yep.
Like just get to team fights and be
Is that
relevant.
a top tier AD carry? Is that a job for a top tier AD carry?
Is he choosing his job? That's why.
Yes.
Is he choosing his job? Reaper is.
I mean,
what?
It's just he can't. No, Reaper's not choosing it. It's just that's Sneaky's level. Like Sneaky is not good enough to compete with somebody like Doublelift.
Skill level
like,
is choosing his job.
If they're like, all right, we're gonna play some kill ass bot lanes. That's what the fuck we're gonna do. It's gonna be like Ezreal Rakan versus Braum Lucian. Like let's scrap it out. He is never winning versus Doublelift. He will always get outlaned in that circumstance.
If Sneaky actively going and saying, I'm going to be just a passive teamfight AD carry, no, but if you don't put up performances, if you can't mechanically show like you're someone that can carry the game, if you aren't asking for resources, if you aren't delivering results, you're choosing by the skill level you're showing. Like, of course, he's not vocally saying, I want to be passive, I just want to participate in team fights, we can play to our solo lanes, but he's showing that is how C9 has to play to win with them.
I feel like it's mainly against Doublelift that he has this problem though. Like when he plays against for example, Cody Sun and Stixeye just match up better into Doublelift for some reason. I don't know what it is, but just like the fact that they actually like have
Maybe
that killer instinct.
Don't die in the lane.
Well, I feel like Double plays disrespectfully against Sneaky, where he's like he'll like walk up and he'll like challenge Sneaky. It's like, okay,
And
like,
Sneaky
I'm
doesn't
gonna
heal
start a
the
fight.
flash, right?
Yeah, and like he just forces those situations, and it feels like Sneaky's more on edge by that. Whereas like Cody Sun and 6A will be like, "The fuck you walked up, idiot!" Like, and they'll just kill him. You know, like I don't know. I feel like that like there's just some reason why he's. I feel like maybe it's just because he lost to Double so many times in the finals or what it is. He just can't play against Double for some reason.
And I don't think he
think-
thinks about it either.
C9 has championship aspirations, and they've shown they're really close to beating this Team Liquid, not just in summer, but in spring also. In spring, I think C9 was a better team than TSM, and Bjerg just overperformed so much for Game 3. They're so close to beating TL. Niski has grown. Niski still needs to be more rounded. Spence Garen is in MVP form. Licorice kind of went down, but he had the injury. He's really young. I'm sure he can return to form.
Yeah,
Zazel,
that's
extremely young. What is it? Also really good. One of the best engagers in NA. Like these windows don't stay open for that much long. Like when you have a roster that's potential championship level, you need to take full advantage of it, and you have to be cutthroat.
I mean, the thing is that Sneaky is like the fear is that you put somebody like definitely in instead of Sneaky, and then he just
like. Oh, but this is not. We're not going to go that.
I
deep
didn't
on
do
that.
this. I didn't
We're
do
not-
this.
we're not
I didn't do
gonna
this.
say-
I didn't do this. I didn't do this.
I fucking knew it.
okay. So what other scene? So what other AD carry in NA, like NA resident AD carry, would
Find
C9.
one, buy one, buy Cody Sun for I care. Like
buy Cody Sun? I mean,
Yeah,
if you can get Cody Sun or Stixay, then 100% you cut Sneaky for Cody Sun or Stixay. I think that's just like not even a question. I just don't think that Clutch is going to give up Cody Sutton. Like I don't think. I feel like
going to give up sticks.
yeah, I just don't feel like those players are even options.
there's a
So I
price.
feel like
There's a price. If you're this close to championship level, you should take advantage of that.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that Clutch doesn't also view themselves as like they're like, oh shit, like we're pretty good ones if we get like a little bit, like they feel like they could still like get to the finals or like
I'm sure they feel that way. There's a lot of teams like this season. They're like, yeah, we're gonna compete for a championship, but realistically, Dom, you've been in this for a while. Clutch is nowhere close. They're not in. They're not one change away from championship. C9 is one change away from championship. Oh, and also fans are saying it in chat. Spence Garen gets residency next year, so they can they can play for another import.
Yep.
I'm just so worried if I were like the coach of C9, because remember when Reaper like benched Jensen and Sneaky and then Smoothie and stuff? Like everybody wanted Reaper's head specifically because of benching Sneaky. Like they didn't care too much about Jensen or even Smoothie. They were just like, wow, you fucking bench Sneaky? Like fuck Cloud9. Like the Cloud9 fan base loves Sneaky. He's the last bastion of the old C9 that's still there, right? Since season 3. So
yeah, that shit doesn't
New York
fucking-
Giant. So we do a New York Giant. We stay with Eli Manning until he can't throw anymore, until he's like broken down.
but they're still making finals and they're still going to Worlds and getting like semifinals.
Cause of Sneaky,
right? So
Zarian, cause of Sneaky.
like, well, they're doing it, I guess. I would
With
say
him.
they are not winning because of Sneaky. I would say that they are making it far in Worlds because of Sneaky, though. I think that he does turn it on there. And until he proves that he's not worthwhile there or in the regular season, then I think you keep him on. I don't feel like you're going to replace him with somebody. And it's almost like the fucking TSM replacing Doublelift. It's like Doublelift fucking choked at Worlds. Oh, shit, let's replace him because he didn't have good performances, right? It's like, yeah, this might fire Sneaky up, maybe make him a better player in the future. But if you're banking on him not ever getting better and him just kind of showing you his level here, that's a big hit that your fan base is going to take. And as somebody who, like, if you were in C9, I probably wouldn't want to take that risk. I feel like he's now kind of the franchise player.
Okay, I'm gonna. What is it? I have to tackle some of the points you make.
Go for
He's gonna get fired up, and this is gonna make him better. What happened in the last 2 to 3 years? Was he not losing finals? Was he not like? Was he like? Did that not fire him up?
No. He's saying fire up based off like if he gets cut, then he gets fired up. That's what he's saying.
I think
So like, will he be better if you cut him and he just joins another team? Is he just going to be like more motivated?
Yeah, and I think Loco's saying if losing finals over and over again doesn't make you motivated or fired up, will this do it?
this is just the exact same thing. Like losing finals. Like we've seen this story before. TL gets first, Cloud9 gets second. Cloud9 tried their best, but it's just not enough. But we have friendship and we have Worlds to look forward to. We'll make it out of groups, and we'll make funny tweets at Team Liquid about how they didn't make it out of groups. Like, and NA does another year of this again. Like C9 has potential. Like Niski is getting onto a form where he can challenge Jensen and Bjergsen, and like Svenskeren is the best jungler in NA. Like, when you have players like this, they deserve teammates that are also on the very top of their game.
Yeah,
You don't
I think
this form for a long time.
the weird, yeah. I mean, that's the weird thing is like, how much you trust that like they're going to be able to perform like this next split? Because Svenskeren's always been a very up and down player, right? He's like really fucking good, or it's like you're just inting, right? Like there's no in between for him. Like when he first got removed from C9, he was running it down. When he got kicked from TSM, and even the 2 splits before he did end up getting kicked from TSM, he was running it down. Like almost every game he was dying invading. So it's like, do you have enough confidence in Svenskeren and Niski that it's like, yeah, Niski is just going to be the best mid laner again, or like the second best mid laner again, and Sven is just going to be by far the best jungler again? Because if like they don't play like that, it doesn't even matter if you have a Cody Sun or something like that. Like you still
It doesn't
lose
even
to
matter
TL.
right now. I mean, if they go into the next season like this, it doesn't matter. Like, here's the thing: if TL had this Cloud9's roster, if Steve was managing this Cloud9's roster, Sneaky is cut. If Ocelot is managing this Cloud9's roster, Sneaky is cut.
Really? Why do you say that for Ocelot?
Because he made
He
those
doesn't
decisions.
make like he doesn't make that those like tough decisions. I feel like who did he cut that was like super controversial?
He didn't cut anyone that was super controversial, but he's consistently shown he has absolute championship aspirations, and he'll do anything it takes to make championships.
I mean, he went from having like a Sven Mithy roster to getting Wonder when Wonder was like pretty good, but not like super good. And then it was like Hjarnan and Woodid were one of the bot lanes on one of the worst teams. So like, I feel like he's just kind of like been very go with the flow and like got pretty like lucky with how things.
No, I think they're dealt different kind of hands, and I will agree. Like that move for Hjarnan and Woodid wasn't like a cutthroat move, but when you have a potential championship roster and Ocelot and Steve see that they have a potential championship roster, they'll open up their wallet and they'll make sure they'll cut the person that's preventing them from getting to that championship.
Yeah, but I just feel like he hasn't made any of those tough decisions. Like I feel like cutting Hjarnan and Woodid was not like a huge decision. Like yeah, you went to semis with them, but like you went to semis because Perks fucking 1v9'd on stage as LeBlanc versus like Jahu, right? Like that is what actually happened. So it's
Didn't they cut like Emperor or something like that after they made the finals?
Yeah, when they rebuilt the roster around Perks.
Yeah,
we
but
don't
Emperor
have to go
was
too
not,
much into it.
I mean,
Like
we can go down like all those things like Kiki's and Emperor. Like those are not just like the same level players as like somebody like Sneaky. Like that is not cutting Sneaky. That is not cutting somebody.
Beyond G2, what do you think C9 should do next split then? What do you think about Sneaky?
What I think about Sneaky
And what C9 should do?
for next split. I mean, I think that what you do is you'd want to like. I feel like having the thing is I don't like definitely for that position, but I feel like having like a somebody who's like an up and coming AD carry that has a lot of potential would be like a good person to have like under Sneaky, and then you just like compete them against each other, and then hopefully, because normally like new AD carries and stuff like that, they're more like lane dominant and things like that, and like that is normally just a new AD carry strength. Like they'll just be better in lane, but they'll just kind of make like dumb mistakes. I feel like you need somebody to challenge Sneaky in lane, like internally, and like push him to be better in that sense, because I feel like after like it really is just what the meme is. It's Sneaky in lane lull. It's like if he gets out of lane even or ahead, he doesn't make mistakes and he does pretty well throughout the game. So I would like to see somebody come in under Sneaky that is more aggressive, that could like get him better in that regard, or just learn from Sneaky based off like Sneaky's game knowledge, his decision making, etc. And then that person could become the starter. So I would personally like things like, I don't know, one of the Academy AD carries that shows promise. So maybe somebody like Prismal could like join C9 and be like an understudy, and then you compete them against each other. And then if it really isn't working, like that's what you do for spring. And then if in spring you're like, damn, Sneaky just actually fucking sucks now, then you make like a big change. I feel like
that sounds like a C9 move. That they always do that. They get an understudy. They never cut the person out, right? Like it's like Impact had Ray, Bunny Fufu has Smoothie. Like they're always like an understudy team. Like Svenskeren has Blabber. Like I'm pretty sure that's what they'll do. But I think this is one time where Jack can open up the wallet and really push the team.
I mean, they never open up the wallet though. Like that is just not a C9 thing to do. Like if you look at the players that they picked up, they end up being good, but they get players at a low fucking cost that end up being good. Like Niski is not getting paid like a fucking top. Like I'd be surprised if Niski is making half of what Jensen's making.
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Like
I don't think so.
Like I think like Niski is somebody who he's there for the opportunity. It's not like they just bought Niski and Niski's like, fuck yeah, I'm getting paid, like I'm retiring. It's like, all right, dude, you want a chance to play for our team? Like you're pretty good, but you're only gonna make like a little bit of money. Same thing I see about Licorice, right? Like Licorice is not somebody like when do they buy talent? Like even Sven, when they bought Sven, I'm sure that Sven didn't cost a lot coming from TSM. Yeah, they never go out and they're like, this is our fucking player. Yeah, he was at the I fucking ran it down, didn't gank once in 6 games at Worlds discount. Yeah, I don't know. Like they never pay for like who was the last person that joined? Okay, so the last person that joined C9 that was like a big move was Jensen, right? Yeah. Like that was the last time where it was like, oh shit, this is like some random star player type shit.
He was also banned. I was banned I was banned indefinitely discount.
So that was the discount.
Yeah.
But like people had very high opinion of him. You know, like they don't go. So that's kind of what I'm leading at. Is they don't go for people that like people have a really high opinion of often. Like it's not like Licorice was an E United top laner. He played in academy, didn't promote. Like he did pretty well, but like you didn't think he was just going to be as good as he was. Yeah. Niski was like a pretty average EU mid laner. And he just got a lot better this year. Like, also he's playing in NA, so that just makes you look automatically better. But like, he also did improve. Like, it's not like he's playing at the same level he was playing at when he was playing with Splice. So
Jack showed that he's willing to open up the wallet because he made a bid for caps. So if there was a price for caps, I'm sure he was willing to pay. It's fucking caps, so he's probably willing to pay. There was a price, and also this year, C9 can make so much money. All these struggling LCS teams. Do you want a Golden Glue? 100 Thieves, maybe you interested in a Golden Glue? Like FlyQuest, maybe you interested in a Golden Glue? You don't like them imports? I'm sure
got a Blabber.
Sell
Blabber.
Teams are fucking lining up for Blabber. Holy, the lines out the door.
Yeah, he's so good.
You want a Kumo, someone interested in a Kumo, maybe you need a good NA top laner, maybe Solo's too toxic for you, maybe your current NA top laner is not cutting it. There's so many people that C9 can sell and actually go all in for next year, and I would love to see C9 hoist the championship. Let's not have a TL 5P. TL did their 4P, forever fourth, the meme is done, like they come full circle. Let's have a new winner. Like let's actually get money out there, and I want to see C9 do major upgrades.
Yeah, and I think.
So who else do they upgrade? Like who else do they upgrade then? If you want major upgrades, or you think it's just like? Do you think that if let's say you put somebody who's world class AD carry, right? Like who's one of the best AD carries from the world? Let's say you get Viper from Griffin, right?
I was gonna go
he is now. You get him instead of Sneaky. Do you think that team, Viper, Zazel, Niski, Svenskar, and Licorice, is better than TL?
They went to game 5 with Sneaky.
But that's the thing.
Sneaky losing every single lane unless
but TL played like bad. That is the thing that people are ignoring about this. Like just because TL won, people view it as like, oh, C9 really tested TL, but this was a bad version of TL. Like they were making so many mistakes that they normally would not make.
If they can go to game 5 with bad version of TL with Sneaky, I'm sure they beat the good version of TL with Viper. If they have a world-class AD carry that's matching double lift or that's even better than double lift, oh my god, like that's the one thing.
Damn. So you think that's all it is? If you have a better AD carry versus TL, then you're just gonna win.
I think that's something that a lot of teams, when TL goes to international level and they match up with teams that have better bot side than them, and they can't just go mid jungle win, let's go bot side and we win, then that's going to be a huge problem for TL. I think that's one wall they're going to run into. There's no one in NA that challenges double lift. Double lift is so good where like no one in NA even comes close.
Yeah, but I don't think
that's a huge problem.
I don't think that Viper is necessarily just going to like bend over double lift though. Like I think double lift can hold his own with the best AD carries in the world. So it's like I'm just not sure if that. I'm not sure if C9 with a better AD carry is better than TL.
You don't think the fact that Double's not running a train on Ruler, that is their best TL's best option of winning by negating that. Now you move them to option 2, which is still very good in the world of NA, but as Loco has said, Cloud9 shows that they can hang with them with the best there. I think
yeah. So double playing internationally with core JJs, then MSI and Rift Rivals, I don't think we can put that much weight on Rift Rivals, but it does show, they can compete with G2, but it is Rift Rivals. And then if MSI is the big tournament we have to go off of, there were times where TL bot lane couldn't compete, and the other
you can't value MSI that high. Like that's the thing is like, okay, so if you want to like start valuing MSI, then you have to consider NA the second best region in the world, and TL is the second best team in the world, right? You have to say G2 is the best team in the world.
Okay.
CNI, like TL is, you have to say G2 is the best team in the world. TL is the second best team in the world. Europe is the best region. NA is the second best region. Korea is pretty dog shit. China is like now worse than NA. Like if you go down that line of reasoning, you end up with like such a fucked up like delusional thought of what's actually happening that I don't even like to talk about MSI. That's why I hate MSI as a tournament. Is because you don't actually get the best fucking result. Like there's no lower bracket. There's such few amount of games that you get such a random result that it's like, all right, well that's nice. We probably still suck though. Like really, are we better than China? Fuck no, we're not better than China.
I'll refocus this onto something that's more realistic that we can both maybe agree on. Doublelift smashed up every single bot lane in NA, and he did that all the way up to finals. All the way up to finals, no one held like a candle to Doublelift Core JJ. Internationally, there's going to be bot lanes that match up very well versus them, and that even beat them on both matchups. There's no one else that can do that in NA, but Worlds is a completely different it's completely different. There are bot lanes as good as TL or even better. So if C9 can get a bot lane that's as good or better, like the matchup completely changes.
I mean, the thing is, I think Core JJ is still better than Zeyzal. He's still better than Zeyzal. So it's like you need your AD carry to be enough, like to have a better bot lane, right? You need your AD carry to be that much better than Doublelift, more than the difference between Core JJ and Zeyzal. So it's like it's pretty tough like task. Like I don't know. I don't feel like it's just like you get a better AD and then suddenly your bot lane is just better than TL's.
Well, the gap is like this. Let's just make it like this. It's like
Aiden,
this.
get
I
in
just
there.
need it to be like this.
Yeah. I'm like, one of the things that like pisses me off about North America in general is like our bottom lane. I feel like if C9 find a bottom laner who can actually play mages, they'll be so fucking dominant because it opens them up to double ADs. And Niski loves to play melees in the mid lane and loves to play AD champions. And so does Licorice. So if you can get somebody who plays bottom lanes, like if you can get somebody who plays Syndra, Swain, or whatever in the bottom lane, like you can make the enemy AD fucking irrelevant for the whole game. Like as soon as you get somebody who can just like one shot Doublelift with the Syndra, all he has to do is just Syndra R him in the fights, and then everybody else will take care of the rest of the shit. Just like go anti-AD with your bottom lane if you can. I feel like you need somebody like that, and that's why G2 does so well. That's why some of those other teams do well. Viper is considered really, really great. It's because of that versatility, and nobody in North America has really shown that they can do that.
Yeah. No one can. I mean, the most versatile we have is like, Doublelift plays Sona, kind of.
That's
like,
it. Yeah, it's fucking pissing
That's
me
like,
off.
it's like, ooh, shit. Like, we're fucking spicy out here. Like,
The
you don't
entire
play.
world can beat Sona, but not us. So every team that plays versus TL has to permaban Sona or lose to it. Like the state of our bot lane it's so abysmal. Other than these two people, like no one else is good in NA in terms of bot lane. Like that's the world we're in right now. I just think NA bot lane is so bad, and if teams can like level up their bot lane, they'll be able to challenge TL. Like no other region bans Sona. But like we're in finals, we're in semis, and people have to permaban Sona. Like Doublelift and Core JJ, they're freaking good, but rest of NA is just so bad. They're like we have to recognize that. No other region's touching Sona.
All right, so before we devolve into going through the AD carry and bot lane tier list one more time, let's move on here because we've talked about the finals and now like the future of NA. Next thing up, though, Loco was talking about the fire sale that Cloud9 could possibly have, right? I'm talking Kumo on the block, Blabber possibly on the block. You know, I think if you're a social media manager, you might be in luck here because, or if you're looking for a social media manager, you might be in luck here because our tweet of the week comes directly from Cloud9 social media manager, Jensen, finally giving us an LCS title. A little premature celebration here from Cloud9 social media manager, which then led to the clapback, delete your account, straight from Team Liquid, which was pretty awesome. And there's nothing that he could do after that one. Yeah, without a doubt. That was, these are pretty solid tweets, and I thought that was going to be all she wrote. However, G2, during the show, live from the show, coming out with the actual tweet of the week. Dear Team Liquid LOL, congratulations on winning the North American ARAM Championship and qualifying for Worlds. We can't wait to 3-0 you again. However, you'll have to make it out of groups first. Sincerely, G2. So, G2.
They're so European. I love it. I love how European. You know what's crazy? This is how like every European is. Like every European is like, I'm the fucking best. Everyone else is shit. Like even people that are like Diamond 3, Diamond 4 legitimately think they're like the best in the world at the champion they play. Like they're all like so ridiculously delusional that it's like positive because they have such confidence in themselves that always perform to like the highest of their like ability. So I actually kind of like this. Like I don't know, I mean, it's fucking crazy. Like not just in like this is just they're fucking crazy, but it's a good crazy for League.
Yeah, and like. I don't think there's like I want to see if TL even responds to this because I don't think there's like a clap back.
I've been waiting.
Like that is just but this is just what people like you know how like there's a meme with Grow Score like I'm the best TF in the world, bruv. Like he always says that. Like I thought it was like a meme. It's like okay, obviously like somebody who's like in Diamond doesn't think that they're the best in the world at a champion, right? Like how could you be Diamond and then see somebody like Apto being like number 1 in like Korean ladder maining TF? Like how could you actually think you're a better TF in the world? But that is actually how most people think in Europe. Like they and I like it because like when they like it gives you such belief in yourself that you feel like you have to like overperform because you have to match the expectation of what you've set like for yourself in the community.
So gun to the head, growth score. We ask him who's the best TF. He says myself.
It's me, bro.
Yes. Like it's like a yes. Like I am the best fucking TF in the world, and then it's just like pull the fucking trigger. Like pull the trigger. Like you won't.
How you want to die? If that's how you want to die, I mean, oh my God.
That's what it is. Like people, it's just anyone. Like but I'm telling you, it's like I just gave Grow Score as an example, but I've like met like while I was climbing like EU solo queue recently, I met like in Diamond 3 like a Kiana player. Who's like, yeah, like I'm the best fucking Kiana jungle in the world. Look at like League of Graphs and shit. And I'm like, the fuck, like what is? It's like, yeah, he's got like the highest like KDA on Kiana in Diamond games or some shit. But like to that, like he used that information to justify to himself that he is just the best Kiana player that's ever lived, which is crazy. I mean, but I mean it's respectable.
That's what G2 does.
You respect that.
Yeah, like G2 is like they have that same attitude, but they're actually really fucking good, you know? Well, like are they the best in the world? Maybe. Like they could be the best in the world. I like if I had to guess, like if I had to like put my life on it, do I think G2 is actually going to win Worlds? I would probably say that they would not win Worlds. Like I would think that they wouldn't win the Worlds. Like I would think that like one of the Chinese teams would just like perform really well again. Or
I mean,
Griffin
IG's
or
out.
SKT like plays well. Like that's what I would think. But I feel like G2 has such confidence that they're going to give it their best. Like if teams don't bring their A game versus G2, they will lose. And that's what's scary about G2. That's why they can win the world championship. Is because teams just won't. Like I don't know.
Damn, you had all this swelling G2 pride going on, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know if they win world. They'll do their best. You know, China's pretty tough, you know, but they'll do their best.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't know. I just think that they believe that they're going to win Worlds. Like, I think if you asked a G2 player right now, gun to their head, do you think that you're, like, going to win Worlds this year? They would all say yes. I don't think there'd be one person that would be like, no, I don't think we'll probably win. Like, I think that deep down, they just truly believe that they will win Worlds.
That is what happened in the post-game interview with Double and Jensen. Double's like, I don't know. We're gonna do our best, but
yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, we're winning Worlds.
That's more like NA mindset, you know? Like we're just like, well, it didn't go last time. Shit. Like I don't want to say that I'm gonna win and then not win and have people flame me for it. That would feel bad. So let's avoid doing that whole thing. Whereas like G2, they're just like. There's like, fucking try to flame me, peasants. Like, you don't even know shit. Like, I'm the fucking best. Like, they don't even care. They're like those people that even like tweeted them. They don't even value their opinion for anything, you know? Which I respect because I wish I could do that.
All right. Going back to the tweet of the week, what did you guys think of C9 tweeting middle of the series that Jensen's about to win us the LCS trophy?
Oh,
I didn't know that they fucking like. I don't know. I feel like it makes it seem like they actually did not like Jensen. You know, because like, what if they win and then that's just like how they put it out there, right? It's like, Jensen was shit. You know, it's like, damn, like it's kind of rough. Like I thought that he like did pretty well for the organization. I took it like I was like, damn, that's an aggressive ass tweet. Respect.
I think it was trying to be too witty. You're trying to be too witty at the.
I mean, it's like a half meme, you know? It's
too true. It's too true to be a meme.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's too real, you know?
Yeah, who's their social media manager? Is that
it's Portillo?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Dude, I don't think he has anything against Jensen.
No, him and Jensen are good friends.
Yeah, dude. Like good friends, like really good friends. Shit, dude. Every time we go out, like, everybody's partying.
I don't know. I like that type of shit is like
It's for the memes.
Is it for the memes? Like
I think it's for the
don't know.
memes, dude.
That felt too insider jokey for people that don't know the joke, and it just seemed a little too.
If you don't have context for it, though, like publicly, it looks like it's like really bad. But he knows that it's not going to like upset Jensen, right?
Really? Like, even if
Dude,
like I don't know.
C9 fan base is so toxic towards Jensen. They're like, Jensen, like, oh my god, he couldn't win us where it counted. Remember that Echo ult? Or like, remember when he didn't press Echo ult? Or remember when he didn't press Janyos versus TSM? Like, Jensen did a lot for C9, and a lot. Like, I feel like some of the times, the only reason C9 was in finals was because of Jensen. Like, he was your best player for such a long time, and the way that C9 fans treat Jensen, and then Portillo like tweeting this on top of that. If C9 did win, they would have doubled down on, yeah, we didn't need you, Jensen. Like, we like High better. We like Nifty better.
But
I don't
now,
think it was like a complete joke. I don't think it was a complete joke.
well,
I feel
jokes
they-
have like a shred of
We
truth
like
to them.
Link
and that's
better.
why it's
There's
funny.
one more. I was
right?
trying to remember the last one. But yeah, there's a truth to it. Go ahead. Sorry, Aiden.
Yeah. I mean, it's not funny unless there is like truth to it in some way, shape, or form, right? It's kind of like the joke now is Jensen's been denying C9 championships for years, and he's still doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like whether he's on the team or against the team. So it's like that's the joke that goes around now, and it's because it's true, right?
And there's also a factor of it coming from the team account, it not coming from a personal account. If it's like the manager just tweeting from his own account, then we know it's a joke. We know they have a relationship. But for the people that don't know who's running the C9 main account, like they don't know it's a joke, and it can come off really badly towards like the fans that don't know.
Yeah. And then there was that tweet after where it's like the person who made this tweet has been fired, and like memeing the Immortals tweet from before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's just a
That's
big
as good of a
memer.
save that you could get, but it was not good.
Yeah. But he saved his meme with a meme, right?
That's who you want to run your multi-million-dollar esport team social media.
Your social media manager is literally paid to be a meme expert.
All right, let's move on to. We'll touch on it because we spent so much time on the finals match, as we should have, and then probably a little bit too much time on Worlds opportunities here. Let's touch on the third place match here, CLG Clutch Gaming. That actually happened, and it was an entertaining series. It was sloppy, reverse sweep here, coming out of CLG, pulling the classic CLG fan base, heart attack, faith age stuff. I was getting PTSD as a former CLG fan, but it was fun to watch, and I think watching Clutch in the first two games was very fun. I enjoyed watching them find success, and Tanner time over in Detroit. To be honest, like I had more fun in Detroit with those fans for the third place game when Clutch was finding success than I think any other time. Like the 5-game series, it felt like it was going to go 5-game series in the finals here, but 2-0 Clutch Gaming was just, it felt a little surreal, didn't it? And Zyrene, what were your thoughts here for it?
Well, I'm glad that CLG won because I actually thought they were the better team, or at least more versatile. And I'm worried now for Clutch moving forward because they haven't shown that they can win with champions aside from things like Kiana and like a few others. And if they've been kind of found out, like, because they found a style for them that worked in the later half of the split, and that's how they made it to playoffs. But if people are now just going, oh, we can kind of like ban these champions away or deny them, and you guys kind of cease to function, then I think that's going to hurt them a lot. And they have to find like a new play going into the gauntlet if they even want to make it to the finals of the gauntlet.
Yeah, you're right, but it's just so weird that like no one's done that before. Like they've done the same thing this whole time, right?
It's always
like
funny though. You're like,
it's
it's
the
right
Rumble
there.
Kiana, it's the Rumble Kiana GP bullshit, right? Like those are their champions. You give them those champions, they play way better. What I don't understand is like why like CLG is trying to play like they're like, okay, you know, we're 5 heads. We're not gonna ban Kiana. We're gonna first pick Kiana, and then they just like play Kiana into Renekton. It's like CG just knows the champion, right? Like they just know Kiana.
They know so much better.
Yeah, they know so much better. They play Kiana in scrims. I'm sure somebody played that against Demonte before, and he's like, damn, that actually is a fucking hard matchup. Like I don't know how I'm supposed to win this matchup. It's just bad, right? So then he developed the counter pick for that. It's like, why can't you just ban fucking Kiana Rumble at the beginning of the series? Like, why do we have to do this thing where it's like, okay, we played a game of Kiana, and then they gave Kiana to Demonte, and it was like, all right, well, if you're just gonna give them their fight, like just open Rumble and Kiana next game. Just let's just fucking get out of here if this is what you guys want to
That's
do.
basically
like,
what happened in game 2.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, okay, so why are you like how do you guys like? Did I watch the matches and you didn't? Like, why do you guys think that you can suddenly deal? Like, this is just the way you beat Clutch. You ban Rumble and Kiana every fucking game, right? And then if you're on blue side, then you can possibly ban the GP. If you're on purple side, then you probably have to ban Yumi because the champion is just bullshit broken because Riot is not the best at balancing their video game. So that's it. Like that is what every team. I want to see every team in Gauntlet ban Rumble Kiana every game against these two.
What about GP?
Rumble Kiana every single game. GP is the one that is the least scary to me.
Yeah.
I feel like GP is like the one where you can give it and you just play like something that's good into GP. It's not going to ruin the game the same way the Kiana or the Rumble will ruin the game, in my opinion.
So do you use that third ban on Lyra and take away his, what was it, Skarner?
No. Well,
no.
you ban the GP. Like I don't. The Skarner is just whatever. Like I feel like Skarner is beatable.
And we got to see that in the finals, how you played into his Skarner.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think a third ban is a Kali on blue side, and on red side it's a Yumi.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's what I think. You just swap them that.
So,
Dude, or go ahead, Daniel.
no. Go ahead, Luca.
So one thing I also don't realize is, or don't understand is, CLG also took time to figure out like what works for them. Like they should have done the mage thing from the very start. Like adding on to Dom's point, like the Kiana thing was like way too 5-head. Like, oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do this. And Ruin is showing more and more up who he is. And also Wiggly to a certain degree, but this is Wiggly's his first playoffs. Like Ruin,
He played really bad. He played really bad the first two games. I thought.
well, don't try to gaslight me into saying, well, like Ruin deserved top 3 All-Pro. Like, well, then try to gaslight me into saying that. Like, or not gaslight everyone on that Reddit thread where he got top 3 and he was defending it. Oh my god, I started to believe it. Like, Weldon's scary when he talks because you start to believe it,
9
and then you
games,
stop talking to him, and then you look at the facts and you're like, no, this is not it. This is not it. Get a hold of yourself. Like, don't listen to Weldon. Just, Ruin's not that good at all. He's like 5th or 6th best top, if anything.
Yeah, that's what we had him when we rated him. He's just
Yeah.
the thing I don't like about Ruin now is like I feel like when he came he was like really consistent. Like I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna like show up the team fights. Like he was that player, and then like he just became like this really like dice roll player. It feels like he almost started like overstepping his role in the team, and it's like, nah, I'm gonna fucking play a Kali and go for solo kills under turret. I'm like, oh, never mind, I died and we lost the game. Well, we tried, boys. It's like he was never supposed to be the defining factor on whether you win or lose. To me, it's supposed to be like bot lane and like their jungle should determine everything, and Power of Evil is like consistent, like gonna show up to team fights, gonna be strong. I feel like that's like a bot lane centric team, and they just need to be like better at what they do and not try to just do all this random shit. Like you don't need Ruin playing every fucking carry under the sun. You can just
Fucking Diana pick for Power of Evil. Like they did some random
the Diana pick, but that's what I hate is like they're trying to be so smart. Like, why does every team try to be so smart around what CG's good at, right? Like, CG plays Kiana Rumble. They win so hot. Like, what is their win rate with Kiana and Rumble? I'd be surprised if it's under 80%. If like with either of those champions, like,
I think
they have.
I'm not sure if it's true after the 3rd and 4th match, but their only wins in playoffs came from when they had either of the 3 champions Kiana Rumble Gangplank. They didn't have a single win when they didn't have Kiana Rumble Gangplank.
Okay, so if that's what they're like, that's their team. Like, you don't have to just. Like, obviously, there are things that you're going to have to play into. But I feel like that's, like, what you do with, like, the lower picks down the line. Like, you're like, okay, so he's not going to play fucking, like, Kiana because we're going to ban it. When he plays Aurelia, like, what is our, like, weird counter pick to that? Like, there you can run your Renekton mid into the Aurelia or whatever the fuck you're going to run. Like, instead of running Diana into his Kiana, push him onto his, like, 2nd or 3rd or 4th best champion where it's, like, you put him on his Silas or his Aurelia or something like that, and then you just pick like a weird counter to that. If you want to go that route, if you don't want to just play straight up. I just think that playing straight up into the champions that they are good at is just such a dumb move. And teams keep on doing it. TL did it. Like we talked before the TL series, we're like, all right, they should ban like Rumble and Kiana. Those champs are pretty good. And then, they won a game with Kiana, won a game with Rumble. It's like, okay. We've learned what the formula is. And this next series, it's the same exact thing. I mean, at least they banned the Rumble all the games, but the Kiana made it through the first 2 games. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought they did the best thing I think that CLG ended up doing in that series against Clutch was when they got Karma on Clutch's side, they just picked like their normal like Orianna and Aatrox, and then they swapped it and they just put the Orianna top side. I was like, I was like, that's super fucking good. Like, because they're gonna play like, you know, Demonte's gonna play a melee mid. He's gonna play the Kiana, the Aurelia, you know, the Akali if he gets it, and you can just play Aatrox into those and feel okay. So I felt like that was actually the best thing that they had done, is shown you don't have to take the dick from Karma. You can just put your mid laner top and just have that range versus range matchup and feel fine about that, and just kind of just trade farm.
Two things I want to touch on that. Huni is just outclassing the hell out of Ruin, and I think just beyond like getting better matchups, also getting better player matchup where Ruin is like aggressive, I want to fight you, and Huni's also aggressive, I want to fight you, and Huni just does it 10 times better. So getting Ruin out of that matchup was key. And also Orianna into Karma, it is a range versus range matchup, but Karma has poke, Karma outranges you. The way that Power of Evil was able to play it, how he forced Demonte to back early, or he forced Huni to back early, and how he solo killed him later. Power of Evil was so crucial in CLG being able to play out that comp. I don't think a lot of other Oris can play side lane versus Karma and get a lead on Karma and also solo kill her. So Power of Evil was just so crucial to CLG win, and I don't think he gets enough credit. Anything else for the third and fourth match? I'm trying to think.
It would just be looking forward to Gauntlet. That's about it.
Yeah. So we have like the Gauntlet schedule out now, right? It's FlyQuest versus Clutch.
FlyQuest
And
Clutch, the winner that plays
Clutch,
CLG.
TSM. Oh, CLG is second?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
TSM's
the
first.
winner that plays, I think someone was laughing. They said Final Boss TSM or something, like Big Boss TSM afterwards as the one series away there. So we'll head on over to Gauntlet now.
I feel like TSM is gonna perform better than people think. Like everyone thinks that TSM is gonna be like a complete joke team, and it's just gonna be like free win for whoever gets there, like gets to play against them. I feel like they can potentially win. Like they could potentially just shape up. Like TSM is the type of team that like can turn things around quicker than other teams. I feel like because they are so like drastic with things. Plus now they're actually going to be scrimming because obviously with the internal drama we exposed and stuff, like they didn't have, and like even what they've said, they just didn't have that much practice with Spica going into it. So like I feel like we're going to definitely get a better TSM in Gauntlet than we did in playoffs.
I want to believe TSM, but I think the drama has been so much.
Yeah.
I
don't
really
think that
don't know.
they're the favorite.
I
I feel
really
like
don't know.
CLG has to be the favorite here.
Oh
That's how I
my
see it.
God. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't do it again. I can't love her again, Tom. It hurts so much. I tried 3 times this year. It hurt so much. It happened in spring. It happened in finals, or it happened in spring, and then it happened in summer. I'm not strong enough to love again. How much of a chance do you give TSM if it's CLG versus TSM at the end?
Like probably like 35% chance.
35? Okay.
TSM like 35, like 38, something like that. Like it's just not. People think that it's like 100% whoever gets versus TSM wins, and it's just not like that. Like they can still play the fucking game. They still have good players in that team. You know, Bjergsen can, like, if you have a bad series versus Bjergsen, he can win you a series. Like we've seen it before. We've seen his team be bad and him carry. Like people can play. Like TSM can win.
Is it even good for this TSM to go to Worlds?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like any of these teams, like what team would you want to go to Worlds from these? Like I feel like all these teams, I do not want Clutch to go to Worlds because I feel like they're so exploitable. And once people just start banning like
Kiana.
Rumble Kiana every single fucking game, then there's not a good team anymore. Like I feel like they're so insanely exploitable. I would say like CLG would probably
CLG.
look the best. Like I would rather send CLG, but like I wouldn't feel good about it. It's the same way as like, yeah, it's the same thing I said before. Like I just wouldn't be happy about sending that team. I wouldn't have confidence in that team. I'm like, CLG. It's like, yeah, okay, we only are really sending 2 teams, but like rules state that we have to send a 3rd team. That's the only reason CLG is there. Like if we had the choice, we would choose not to send them and only have 2 teams represent us. Like, yeah,
Kyrie.
that's how I feel as an NA like fan.
Aiden, what do you think?
I think it's right on the money there. I think CLG is honestly a better team than TSM because like if you even think back to the regular season when they played each other, this is when like Grig was in the lineup too, right? CLG lost the first matchup just barely. They were winning for most of the game. They had like all the Drakes and they had the lead in kills and gold, and it came down to like a fight around Baron near the end. And then in the second game they won. So I feel like CLG have just kind of had TSM's number for the first time in a very long time. And when they bring in Spica, and then there's like less time to even synergize with that jungler. And I don't believe they even have Grig on the sub roster at all. So they couldn't even like bring him in if they wanted to. So they have to dedicate to Spica. And I just think CLG is a better team right now. Like all around. Like I think that like Broken Blade didn't really like show up later in the season. Bjergsen, even against Power of Evil, like hasn't been able to pop off in a bit. And then like the whole Sven Smoothie thing in bottom lane, I don't know what's going to happen there. But Stixxay and Biofrost have been quite good.
Everything for TSM and everything good I can say for TSM is just speculation. I think Bjergsen will be better. I think Broken Blade will come back to his spring form. I think Spica will grow. It's all just speculation. I hope they can get better. And if there's like 3 or 4 things where I have to say I hope they can get better, then they're not better. And it's just like on a chance. I think CLG favorites by far. And then Clutch versus TSM. Second time around, I think TSM will have better bans, but I'm not sure if that's enough to drive them over.
I mean, I just think that they also are playing with less pressure, which is like, it's like the like fear the man with nothing to lose type saying. That's kind of how I view TSM. Like they've been beaten down so fucking like they can just like all they can do is just go out and give it their best. And I feel like they'll just like they'll give it their best, and their best probably like it shouldn't be enough. But if CLG underperforms, it could.
Seeing the pressure is less on TSM.
I'd say the pressure is so much less than it was like in playoffs and stuff. Like I feel like people are just so low on TSM right now. Everyone thinks they suck, right? Like, does anyone think TSM is good, or like are people? Do you think people are going in thinking that they're going to win Gauntlet?
Well, I just think that if you're a member of TSM, the pressure is always fucking on because that fan base is like rabid, and even the fan bases of other
course,
teams,
but I mean,
like they don't like TSM.
Yeah, who would like TSM? Like you have to be really fucking delusional to like TSM. That's all I gotta say, dude. Like that I don't know. After we've seen what they've done to players, jungler after jungler, I just don't know. Like, is there anyone that is willing to show their face as a TSM fan and like take responsibility for their actions? Well, I don't know anyone. So, anyways, no one comes to mind. So,
they'll hide for now, and then if TSM win, they'll all come out of the woodworks. Like, I knew it.
Oh, I was a fan the whole time. It's like, no, you were
not in top 3. Like,
no. I mean, I just feel like for TSM, this is pretty much like the freest. This is the least amount of pressure you're gonna have going into like a gauntlet match possible, because it's just like okay, like at least if you're like Broken Blade or like whatever. Whoever you are on the team, Bjergsen, Broken Blade, Sven, like whatever, you can kind of just like at the end be like, oh, it was a fucking broken ass team. Like we had a bunch of shit go on and it just didn't work out. Whereas like normally
internally, what do you think they'll be saying internally right now? Like leading up, I think they have to tell themselves we can save this year if he just makes Worlds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I feel like
that's what fans think too. No, like I haven't checked TSM subreddit in a while, but I'm pretty sure like that's what they'll think. Like
really, I just assume that like everyone is just over it. Like when I see like the comments, like I feel like most people are just kind of like, yeah, they fucking suck. Like whatever. Like when I see comments, people are just like, okay, so like what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of Sven for next year, and then we're gonna see what happens. Like those like people are already looking forward to like who they're gonna kick from the roster, like what they're gonna like do coming up. Like I don't feel like anyone is still like, that was an unlucky series for Clutch, but I believe in this team. Like I don't see any comments like that. No matter where I go.
Yeah. If they make Worlds, I wonder what will happen to the team in spring. But if they don't make Worlds, like, God, get Dardoch, get Blabber even, like.
Oh, let's talk that. Let's talk that. What do you think about Dardoch, TSM Dardoch?
Oh, I feel like it would be super good, but I just feel like he would get benched in like a second on a team like that.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like that's like kind of what they need. They need somebody that's gonna like go in there and like stand up for themselves and be like, I am jungling. This is how I want to fucking jungle. You guys are gonna listen to me and play around me, and if not, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
It's the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Is Dardoch gonna become a bitch jungler like all other TSM junglers, or is TSM gonna let him jungle the way he wants to jungle?
I just don't think that there's. I don't think there's the infrastructure for it right now.
Dardoch would be benched. Dardoch would have anything happen before he becomes the bitch jungler. I swear.
Yeah, like I don't think TSM would be open to them changing the way that they do things because of a immovable object.
But I just feel like that would never work, right? Because like he has coached Dardoch before, and Dardoch got benched mid-split.
Yeah, it did not
the
work out
same
well.
the same split
Yeah,
they
so it's like,
required him.
Wait, Dom,
I feel like if
that's
you-
the other thing we have to talk about. Do you think all right, TSM Dardoch, or three things so we all know what we're talking about? TSM
Yep.
Dardoch, is Zeke's going to be the coach next year? And also the TSM spreadsheet. So, let's stay on Dardoch. But let's also
God.
talk about those other two.
I mean, I'm pretty much done with what I have to say about Dardoch. I feel like he's just a good type of player to have because he has like the fire, he has the passion, and he does have like the skill and the knowledge to be able to like defend his own position within the team, which I feel like is really important, especially in a team culture like TSM, where I feel like they will tell you like what to do, and like it is going to be like you're going to get more direction from management than you would from, like in other teams. So yeah, I just feel like you just need a jungler with a backbone, and he's just somebody that fills those shoes.
Dardoch does have backbone, but Dardoch also lacks tact sometimes. And Dardoch is someone I want to like back up, and Dardoch is someone I want to say like to TSM management, like, yo guys, he's really changed. Like, yo guys, I want you to take a shot on Dardoch. I didn't watch Academy, but from the people that watched Academy and what I heard Dardoch just trolled the shit out of Academy. He
Didn't give a fuck. He was just playing whatever he wanted to play.
Like Rengar
Yasuo jungle, Kiana. Like when Kiana came out, like he didn't even know. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't even know about like the EQ thing with like the river Q or whatever. Like he had like Kiana came out like 2 days before it, and he just played it and play. I was like, yeah, he just didn't give a fuck.
Josh, like if people are gonna take a shot on you, you have to be good in Academy, and you have to just smurf the hell out of Academy. You smurfed Academy, but you played like it was your smurf account. You played like I don't give a fuck. Like this is my smurf.
Played like a bad teammate. You play, or not a bad teammate, like a bad representative of your organization, I would say.
Yeah, I mean his team is also really fucking shit too. You know,
But that's the only place like he can really show that. What is
Right.
it? For
He's
teams
changed.
to take a shot on him. If he doesn't show in Academy, then like where does he show it?
I just don't even feel like you look at Academy with a player like Dardoch. Like,
Really?
it's just like,
So you just ignore
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, I feel like he's the type of person that you like just try out, like, and you're like, all right, does he still like have his fucking skill or not? Like, if he's like picking troll stuff, like if he's on a team where it really matters, I'm pretty sure he's gonna like be like he's not gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna play Rengar on stage every game. Like you just have to make sure that he's still good, and it's not that he's just like trolling and he just doesn't care anymore. He's just bad now. That would be the only thing I'd be afraid of.
I think no one is gonna doubt Dardoch's skill. Like I personally don't doubt Dardoch's skill, and I don't think anyone really doubts Dardoch's skill level. It's his kind of dedication and how much he's going to put into the game, how much he is going to put into your organization. And when he shows that for Academy, it's really hard to take a chance.
Yeah, like no amount of tryout's going to cover up the lack of focus he just put in a whole 6 months or however long.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I just think that I just don't think he would join a team like TSM. But I definitely think that there's teams out there that it's just like, even if he is fucking trolling, he's better than whatever you've got.
He's running out of teams. He's been on like almost half of the rosters.
Put him on Golden Guardians, dude. Put him on Golden Guardians. Like, doesn't matter if he's playing like dog shit. A dog shit Dardoch is better than a good contracts. That's how I see it.
All right.
So let's taking a look here at some of the leaked TSM stuff. You know, you guys come to Facecheck for the TSM leaks. We had the bad boy spreadsheet that this guy, the TSM Champion Action Tracker 2019 with the tsmshop.com little logo there on the right side, where we're basically covering every single mistake that was made and the weekly totals of said mistakes. And of course, leading the way is Spica and the never does anything wrong Bjergsen with the least amount. Zyrene, you're the one that kind of covered a lot of this. What are your thoughts on this? And then I'd like to go to Loco because you're a coach and has that covered.
Hey, everybody was like freaking out about this for a bit. Like, oh my God, how could they do this? It's like negative reinforcement, positive punishment, like all that shit. I'm like this is pretty standard for teams to do in my experience, but I don't know like if the players should really have access to this. This is the thing where I'm just like,
you should track
access
to your own
but
stuff. Like
yeah.
You can bring it up. Like I feel like this is the type of thing where it's like just way too specific. It's like Sven got caught 7 times in this scrim block, and then like all the other players are like, oh, so that's why we lost 7 times. Oh, yeah, you got to get caught less. Like I don't know. It's just weird. Like, I feel like it's okay to like have the information and like be sharing that like the specifics with the player, but I just feel like I don't know, every player having access to everyone else's mistakes is like kind of weird. Like you could talk about whatever mistakes you have with the team, but I don't feel like they need the specifics that much, you know?
I think it's a tool. This is just a tool for TSM to get better. And it's a tool that can be, I mean, like a tool is like a hammer. You can use a hammer to, drive in nails? You can use a hammer to murder your wife. Like it's a tool. It depends on how they use it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had a weird experience with this. So one of the things that we had in season 4 on Curse is we had like spreadsheets like this, but it was based off LCS performance. And then like every week, I mean, you can ask Mark Z and Steve about this. I'm sure that they would go on record like saying that like this is what the situation was. But we would have like our games watched over by like our coaching staff, and then they would like grade us on how well we did in LCS. You know, like, and it was just like out of like 100. So it was like, okay, you got like an 88 this week, and it was kind of like they would do it based off like
What's
3 different
lowest,
categories.
What's the lowest anybody got?
I'm not sure, but I just remember it was just weird because it like created like a kind of like hierarchy in the team. You know, like it made players feel like they were just like ranked within your own team. You know, so it's like on our split, like we would have like certain people just like mattered more or whatever. Like I don't know, it just was weird, right? And then it's like if somebody's like consistently scoring poorly, like on the like LCS games, it just feels like, oh, this person is shit, and it'd be I don't know, it's just weird, you know. So I feel like when it gets like that, it can be negative because I don't know.
I'll talk about like being a caster. And doing something that's kind of like an art, or you have a craft, and being graded on it sort of in a way, like it is a direct like who's better, Kobe, Jat, Zyrene, Azael, who's going to get world finals, right? And then you have to take everybody into account. And if you have like specific ways to grade people, then they know how they can look better in like the management's eyes and the people who are making the decisions' eyes. So you're kind of like, okay, this is what they want me to improve on. They want me to improve on clarity, diction, like word use. Here's an example of like what I did wrong. They don't do a lot of that at Riot at all. So I would say it was pretty hard to like grow. You're pretty self-managing. It's hard to grow because other people aren't kind of telling you specifics on these things. So I kind of like this in a sense, but I would want it for myself. I don't need to know that
other people,
Azael did this or Jat did that, right? It's kind of like focus on myself. I just need the best to be the best version of myself that I need to be, right?
Well,
even if you're on a team.
Well, but I just feel like it's weird. Like, I mean, how would you feel if like you're getting graded as like a color commentator, and then it's like, damn, you're just like the worst one by far. It's like, oh, these other guys are way better than you. Like, doesn't it just feel weird? It just I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't break. Like, it makes people feel separated and not like part of a team anymore.
It does create cliques sometimes. I'll say that. Like, there was a big issue with cliques at one point. Like when international tournaments would come around, you're like, oh, this is the group of like the S tier or something like that. And like breaking into that's very difficult for other people unless you're like indoctrinated by somebody else who thinks you're good. So it was very much so, I would say, almost like a hierarchy, like you were saying. Like there's definitely like a culture that comes out there. But it's because it's very subjective and it's very based off of what people like. Because I remember like Frost Current even being like, even though they don't like my style necessarily, I'm still going to stick with my shit because if this isn't what gets me like world finals, I don't care. It's still like the most fulfilling casting to me, right? But there is a result of like a win or loss when you play League of Legends. So you have to have certain like KPIs that you can measure in some way, shape, or form of if this person's getting better or not.
And to answer your point, Dom, about can it feel bad for individual stuff? I think it's really on leadership management to say, hey, this is just a tool to get better. This is less about, hey, you eat here. This is your current merit status. No, this is a tool to get better, and this is what we've identified as a team. I like this more as a team-based thing, not an individual-based team. It's like, hey, we have decided as a team, these are the 7 things we're going to track every game. Did we do those things? Yes. Then that very thing at the top should say, yes, we won the game.
I guess where it became weird when I was part of like Curse and we were doing this was like everyone would get graded, right? And then when you're losing like in LCS, if you're winning, everything's fine, right? If you're losing in LCS, it's kind of like, why are we losing? Like, whose fault is it that we're losing? And then if you have like grading and it's like, oh, our fucking support is getting bad like grades or whatever every week. Like he's the reason why we're losing. Then it just like makes everyone dislike the person that's doing the worst in the eyes of like the team. You know? So I guess that's where I felt like it was just weird.
Yeah, because
I personally didn't like it. I personally didn't like it when we were like doing it because like I don't know.
Fucking Zekant.
Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, Zeke was fucking bad. Like he was really bad. So yeah, I mean, he but that was I think that wasn't necessarily for his confidence, you know. Like that was when we were like doing all the grading and everything. It's like, damn, Zeke is getting like he's doing terrible every single week. Well, shit. Now he doesn't feel like he's part of the team. Yeah, and then he just didn't want to be part of the team anymore. You know.
Okay.
This was what it was.
Final thoughts. The only thing I might disagree with a little bit is showing everyone's mistake to everyone, but tracking mistakes is very normal. If you don't track something, you can't improve on it. And it gives them a direction on where they need to improve. And I know people just want to latch on and be like, look, TSM's making people pass it by tracking mistakes.
Yeah, I feel like it's the way it's like the way it's delivered, right? So you can have all this information and then like what I feel like is really normal for teams is like before they get into like a scrim session, you just say what everyone needs to work on, like what you should be focusing on. So it's like, okay, so Spica, you're gonna like focus on like making sure that when you're walking through areas, you're like checking for pinks and like clearing pink wards, and you're not walking over pinks. Like that is like your okay. Sven, you're gonna concentrate on not dying after lane phase, like no random deaths. Like Quas, like let's say like for us it was like Quas, you're gonna do like TP timers, like Piglet, you're gonna do that. Like just having like specific players have like these type of like this like thing to work on, and everyone just gets a thing to work on. I feel like that's fine. But when it's like when you're documenting, when it's like you're like really fucking bad at this, and it's like you're worse at clearing pink wards than I am at not getting caught, you know, then I feel like that just becomes like it just muddies the water. I feel like you can track all this information and just deliver it to the players. Like you can give the players like how many times they're messing up so they can have an accurate perception of themselves. But like I think just everyone working on something, like every player has something to work on. I feel like that's just the best method for improvement.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. And this, in my opinion, also, like we were saying, it can create an environment where people don't feel comfortable with each other. And I don't know if there's a way that they've kind of come to, because I'm not on the inside, that they can actually air these issues out in a very healthy way and have that conflict, you know, because if somebody does, like, you're creating issues with each other, right, by presenting this information. I don't know if they know how to resolve these issues or if they have been, right, because I think that's a big thing on management that has been a miss for like the last year.
All right, so we've been going here for a little over 2 hours. We've hit a bevy of topics here, and I think that's probably a good point to cut it off. Do you guys have anything else that you wanted to hit that we didn't hit on?
I want us to talk.
You want to talk about Rogue? No.
Oh
wait, where's Soligo doing? How's he doing?
Season ended, so he's.
Oh my god! Did you see that player card thing?
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Why did they make one for him?
That's what it is.
But why was his so high? Like it was like when you look at
the lowest that ever.
When you looked at his compared to Bjergsen's, it was like very, very close. There, I covered your face. I'm sorry, Dom. Give me a second.
But that is the.
My bad.
That is the problem that I had with it. Is it's like so you're saying like the people that are making this card are saying that Bjergsen is only slightly better than Soliga. Like that is honestly how you analyze their play. You are a fucking troll. Like he is not anywhere close. Like his score should be like in the 60s. Like he is like not even LCS level. Like he's like what the fuck,
dude?
I was just so surprised by the numbers of it. It was like damn, like he's okay. I guess Soliga's almost as good as like world champions and shit. What the hell?
Yeah, I think the guy admitted in that thread that he didn't watch Soligo like at all, so he just made up numbers. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Okay, well, yeah.
Player card.
Yeah, you're having him as like an 84 versatility. What the fuck? Like he can't play anything. How is he versatile? You have to be versatile, you have to play multiple things. Whatever, dude.
He's he's consistently good on every champion.
God.
Consistently the same up. Oh, him and Bjerg got the same.
Look at that. Look at that. Can you imagine being this fucking delusional? Like, who is this person? I would love to interview this person and have a conversation with them and just see,
oh my god. You know this person's he's a regular on my stream. So he came onto my stream and then he's like, Loco, did you see my thread? Can you check out my thread?
Well, that explains it, dude. You should probably quit streaming because this is what you're producing, man. Like, this is, like, at least now we have context.
Why do I get blamed? And I'm like, cool. And I asked him
Because you should be you should have fucking lied.
You know why that's so legal got a card? Because he's like a fan of the show.
The fact that you are proud of this, the fact that you just said you're like, this is somebody in my community, that is, you should have hidden that. You should have lied. And like, I don't know this
Facecheck
person.
is an R community.
Oh hell no, I'm not associated with this person anyway. Do not loop me in with this guy.
All right.
Dom, you made Saligo relevant. You're the only
you,
reason
dude.
we talk
Yeah,
about Saligo
you should
as
thank
much.
me. Yep, exactly.
Saligo
You made
season.
this happen. You
Saligo
made this
season is
happen.
over, but Saligo Watch never dies. Expecting something from the community for next week for Saligo Watch. Max, I hope you had a great week. We'll chat with you next week. Anything else? I think that's it. I'm gonna call it here. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes of go.
That's solid.
Are
Are we doing one next week?
Isn't Gauntlet next week?
No,
Or
Gauntlet's
is there
a week
break?
away. Gauntlet's a week away, so we should decide that now. We can.
I mean, we
do
can
one.
do
about Europe if you
we
want.
should. I feel like if we do one, we have to do LEC right next week.
Yep.
I feel like that would be
Maybe.
Well,
We can decide that.
Yeah.
Next week we
I
talk
want to
about
go.
Rogue.
yep, sure. Why not?
Big upset.
I'm down.
Why
I'm
not?
down. I mean, we'll do it all the way across the world. So
I feel like the people want the LEC, so we'll see.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, Daniel, close out for us.
Yeah. So again, just little water cooler facts for you guys to sound cool on Reddit and Twitter. The only upsets in the Gauntlet ever are 2015 Cloud9 against TIP, 2015 Cloud9 against one Team Liquid, and 2016 Cloud9 over Immortals. I believe those are all of them. And then I think FlyQuest actually had an upset win somewhere in there as well. Oh, Envy. Oh, that's right. Envy
You mean if
beat-
the lower seed beat the higher seed, right?
Yeah. Envy beat
Yeah.
Team Liquid in the 2016. So
was that the one where they just like fucked
They
up
had Arc
everything?
second?
Arc
they
second.
had Arc second.
Yeah, I was coaching that. I was coaching back then. Yeah, fuck that.
Who was
Like, we were
who was
done.
the AD last second? Put somebody new
that
in.
Fabby?
Jinth. It was Jinth.
Jinth.
That's who it was.
right.
Oh, yeah, he did play. You're right. Jinth did play. Holy shit.
How do you not remember? You were the one coaching him. Jesus Christ. That's how little.
There's sometimes
Now,
where you
now,
forget.
know who
if
the
you ask Loco about anything about his
Oh
TSM
my
years, he
God.
will remember exactly, like
Yeah.
picture perfect,
Oh,
what was going on. But his TL years, like
Yeah,
Oh,
Jinth, Matt, Phoenix, Arc second, and Lorlo.
Jinth was a Sivir one trick in solo queue. He was like a low challenger Sivir one trick that also kind of played Ashe. And it's like, oh, you're playing LCS now. All right, well, shit, that team is doomed.
That was your team. That was your team, Dom.
Oh, I wasn't playing at that point. I removed myself. I was like, I am a streamer. I am not associated with what is going on right now. Like, yeah, I was not down.
All right, so again, catch the regional action in 2 weeks, September 9th, 6th. September 6th, Clutch against FlyQuest. Winner of that will play CLG, and the winner of that will play eventual Worlds attendee TSM. All right, we'll catch you guys next week for LEC action. Thanks so much for watching.